you getting yourself ready for our show?
Okay, everybody, it's another Tuesday morning. We got Jigs and Bigs, the flagship podcast here for you guys. We have a good one. This week, we're doing a little bit of planning here for summer. Summer's about to officially kick off, just a day or two away, and we're here at Jigs and Bigs HQ talking about what the plans are, what it's looking like for us. So we've got some good stuff to talk about there. I fished like an animal this week, while Sean fished an attorney. So really, no surprises, but we have some new stuff to go over for sure. And just a tip this week, we're recognizing and dealing with cold fronts. I just had something pop up this week that we'll talk about that has to do with exactly that, and I'm excited to learn what Sean the fisherman has for us there. And fuck that guy, a special tale of woe for everyone that loves that canoe lifestyle. No interview this week, so you're kind of stuck with the two of us hippies. It's okay, though. We know you love us, guys. So go ahead and piss off. We'll see you right after this. Good morning, everybody. Good evening, good afternoon, whatever time it is that you're consuming this amazing long-form podcast content. I hope you're having a good one. Deshaun, how are you doing? Cheers, buddy.
I'm good. Do you need another cup of coffee? Telling the audience to piss off so early?
Possibly. I mean, we've made a change here at the roast beef hacienda to the coffee that we have. We're back to Pete's Major Dickerson's dark roast. And it doesn't have the normal punch that my beloved Monsoon has. So maybe that's exactly what I need. I don't know.
Yeah, it sounds it, dude. I'm sorry.
Wait until we get into FTG. Once we get into FTG this week, I think you're going to see exactly what kind of a week I've been dealing with, and just idiots. I'm surrounded by idiots. You'll see.
All right. How was your Father's Day?
Father's Day was great. I had received Father's Day gifts early upon their delivery. The Solo Stove and the Solo Stove cooking accessories and things. And then my daughters, they got me a Bass Pro gift card, which was awesome. That was really, really sweet. I'm like, that's awesome. I'm gonna take a ride out to the great BPS and buy some store brand soft plastics. It's gonna be fun.
Perfect.
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. How was yours?
Good. Nice, relaxing day.
That's awesome.
My dad is still recovering from a surgery, so we went and visited him.
Yep.
He's doing much better now.
That's good.
Had some nasty reactions to the first medication they
Yeah.
gave him, and the first couple of days were a little stressful, to say the least. But
Sure.
he's doing much better. He's in good spirits. Everything's good. He's getting around the house, and we couldn't obviously, we didn't have a family gathering for this one because of his condition, but we went and visited, brought some donuts, and had some coffee with the old man. Hung out there for a while, grabbed some lunch, came home, and then I buckled down and did a bunch of KFL shit.
Yeah, you
the whole
did.
day yesterday. Yeah,
Strapped on the KFL boots and went to town, calculating and tabulating.
Yep.
Yeah.
All that shit.
All of those things.
You guys can listen in on that on Thursday to see the fruits of my labor. Hear the fruits of my labor. You don't want to see them.
Yeah.
God, definitely don't want to see my fruits.
That's true. It's like durian.
Why is it so scarred?
It's so bad. Oh my goodness. It was a wild week for me. I had no trivia Friday night, which meant that I got an extra opportunity to go and do some night fishing. I fished Monday night and Friday night, and apparently I missed the supermoon, is what Cody had chimed in. Good old Lockwood Fishing. Speaking of Lockwood, we're going to have him on. I think next week's episode is when you'll hear him on. He's got a story to share with us that is, I think it's going to be pretty much something for the ages. All I know is there was a lot of blood involved.
Ugh.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I know what you're talking about. I think he was kind enough to have sent me the pictures.
Yes. Yeah. It was hardcore. Shoes, people, they're a thing. I recommend them.
And pants.
And pants at times. At times, pants are helpful. At times, and other times you don't want them around. We had a good time. We got together over at so my parents have downsized and they've moved into my sister's house, which we're now calling the roast beef compound, because it houses my sister and her kids and my folks, and they're building a in-law apartment in the space above the garage. There's like this, it's actually a great loft space, and they're building like a complete in-law apartment up there and then having an in-house entrance connected. Like it's quite the endeavor. But some of the stuff that they have over there is absolutely wild. Like I didn't realize this. My dad has quite the little smoker setup. It's one of these pellet smokers. It's not a Traeger. I forget the name brand of it, but it was dynamite. He made these bacon wrapped jalapeno poppers that were out of this freaking world. I was on the deck gorging myself with those and sipping what I'm calling officially my summer scotch, which is a Glenlivet 12. It's got like kind of like rum almost kind of notes to it. Like it's a very unique kind of scotch. I enjoy it. So, did that. We had a little fire, made some s'mores. It was a good time. We had a whole lot of fun. And my dad had hooked me up with a couple of old lures from his collection that he said that, because, like I said, they were downsizing. So he's going through a bunch of this stuff. He's like, I'm never going to use some of this stuff. And I'm not like a collector of all this stuff. So one of these that he had given me is this is like a 5-inch long. It's an old deep diving crankbait with a metal bill, and it's all balsa. Totally. There was paint on it at one time. I'm going to guess that it was like a bone color. It's the vast majority. It's basically all exposed wood right now, and this is the type where it's got there's no split split rings on here. So like it seems like the hooks are. You can't change them. You're kind of stuck. But this sucker is old. He says he dates it back about 80 years old. Which is kind of bananas. And then the other one, which in some ways has a little bit more sentimental value to me, is an old, I think it's called a Heddon, is it a creepy crawler? Is that
was a crazy crawler.
Crazy crawler. That's what it's called. And this is like when, like back in the day, Bobby Roast Beef fishing with his old man, and he had the giant Plano tackle box with all the threefold shelves that pop up and everything. I would remember seeing this in that tackle box and thinking, I want to throw that. And we would be fishing for trout in like a shallow creek. I'm like, no, throw on top water, Dad. And I never ever threw it, but now I'm going to.
Might have been the place to throw it. I bet you a Wayward Smalley would have crushed it.
It could have been. You're 100% right. It could have been, but we're just gonna have to go and try and figure it out. But it is the coolest looking thing. Like I was really into like the old like movie monsters, like Dracula, Frankenstein, Werewolf, Wolfman, all that stuff. Like when I was a kid, I was crazy into those old horror movies, and I thought anything bats or spiders was like just the coolest thing. Could not get enough. So, very cool. Thanks, Dad. Appreciate that. I'm going to do something cool with this old crank, though. Probably make some kind of a display with it. Maybe when I finally get my my replica, I'll put something together with some classic lures to kind of decorate down here in the disco dungeon a bit.
All right, fair enough.
Gets lonely. So let's talk. Sean. I went out a bunch this week. I did some crunching of numbers, and your boy is over an average of 2 sends a week. I'm about, I think, 2.2 right now.
Why are you not giving yourself applause for this?
I do deserve it. I feel. I forget what button is. There we go. That's better. It's like I remember specifically when I had to take that week off, I put in an extra trip out beforehand because the ongoings around my house with spring cleaning and stuff were keeping me from getting out to the water. But when I had gotten back into it, I just didn't stop. I've been doing like 4 or 5 trips regularly. Any opportunity I have, getting out there, and it's awesome. And I got to give another round of applause to my wife for not losing her mind with me going out to do this. And it's been slowly paying off. It really has. I'm absolutely loving it. So things are good. But let's talk about your tourney. It was pretty exciting over there. Go ahead, tell me about it, and then I'll dive into my shenanigans.
Tell me about your tourney, sir. Tell me, he said. Let me tell you about my tourney. We had a what should we call it? a wind affected tourney.
Yeah.
We had a good sized.
She was blowing.
She was a blowing.
Yep.
Mansfield Hollow down in Connecticut was the third stop on the Three Bells tourney trail.
Mm-hmm.
And we had 9 of us out there. We got
That's
out there.
awesome.
And
So it's growing.
it is growing. Yeah, it's doing.
That's dude. Derek at Three Bells deserves a little bit of love.
Yeah, it's getting there. The word's getting out. Now, when we got there, it was calm, and we all knew what was coming.
Yep.
And then, about an hour in, man, that wind picked up. And I should make mention, the night before, the day before, it was 80-something degrees, and
Yeah.
it was not projected to get over like 70 or 60, 65, somewhere in that area. So we had a major cold front smack the area.
Yeah.
A 20-degree drop, and it was pretty awful. And we had to fish, so we got out there. And right when I see a drop like that, the things I automatically throw out are like big baits. I immediately downsize. Immediately, I don't even bother throwing the big stuff. Like I think I went, man, maybe 10 casts with a chatterbait and said this ain't gonna work. Like immediately, I saw what was going on and said no, this is not. I'm not gonna push this. So I switched over to a Ned rig creature bait, favorite of mine. And I was in a weedy area in the North Basin. Now, this place has 2 basins. I was in a weedy area on the southern side of the North Basin, looked around and said, this place is too flat. I don't feel good here. I don't see a solid weed wall that I want. With a cold front, I like looking for really, really as vertical a structure as I can, which I'll get into in just a tip. So I got away from the weeds real quick, and this is probably 30 minutes in after whipping a chatterbait around for a little bit, nothing, and just dead water. There's a large tube that is big enough for bass boats that goes under the road between the 2 basins. So I went straight there. Now there's rock wall right there.
Yep.
So I picked up my first 2 fish at the north side of this tube, and then my next 2 fish on the south side of the tube. I should make mention this tube was possibly 30 feet from the ramp. I mean, it was that close. There's a small beach next to the ramp.
Wow.
It was 30 feet from the beach, but there was a quick drop right there. There was I don't know, went down to 10 or 15 feet. And it was just straight rock. So
There's your vertical structure.
There was my vertical structure.
Yeah.
I went there and got him on the other side too, which the other side was kind of a pain in the ass because people were fleeing the winds. By the time I got to the second side, there were now white caps on the north side, and foam was starting to pass through the tube under the road. It was that bad of a windy day.
No kidding.
Yep. And I think I worked that tube, both sides of the tube, for maybe an hour. And then the bite kind of slowed down. So I figured I picked up whatever I was going to pick up. My next stop, where I stayed for 5 hours, was a dam. There was a large dam. And I mean, not like a dam where there's a dam with overflow, but this dam was sticking 50 to 75 feet straight up out of the water and probably 200 to 300 feet across. It was huge, right?
Wow. Okay.
There's a vertical surface or vertical structure. So I went. There are obviously safety. We'll call them buoys. They weren't. They were like big, I don't know, floating orange Twinkies. We'll call them. They were more horizontal than vertical. You know, they weren't barrels.
Yep.
Usually you see barrels used for that. And
floating Twinkies.
Floating. I saddled up to the floating Twinkies. Now I will say this: for the 5 hours that I was at this spot, I battled 3 cormorants that would not leave. They were pieces of shit. They just wanted to sit on the orange Twinkies. I hate cormorants. They smell. They shit everywhere. They're gross. Yeah. And I was not pleased with them all day. So up against that wall, I started culling. I got my biggest fish of the day, which wasn't a monster by any means, but under the conditions, I'm very happy to take it. And I finished first in the day. It wasn't a very impressive bag. I didn't even touch 80. It was like 77 inches, but again, on a massive cold front day, you take what you can get. Yeah. So I pulled the 77, and we'll get into the results for the rest of the day. But it was kept close, and I luckily put a little breathing room in the last 30 minutes with a 15-incher, and went on my way. Then we went to Applebee's afterwards, and we're going to talk about Applebee's.
Oh God!
As we've said on the show, I've got some food issues that I have to deal with for the rest of my life, and it sucks. Okay. Let me make this very clear. My food issues are not bacteria. Okay. my food issues, if let's say an item with my food issues is put into a fryer, all right, with another item that I'm planning on eating, I might get sick because of cross contamination.
Sure.
That's what happens. A fryer is not a fucking purging system, nor does it encourage alchemy of transforming what my allergens are into nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't work that way,
Yep.
right? So we get to Applebee's, and usually this is a red flag for me when they don't know what the fuck they're talking about with allergens, and I watch out. But I say, hey, I've got this problem, and I don't want this particular item on my food. It's easy enough. You know, if you know what the problem is, you can solve it and just say, I don't want this on the food.
Yeah.
So the waitress then argued with me.
Oh,
Do you want to argue with Bobby? You've seen me at restaurants. Do you want to argue with me about this particular allergen? Probably not. Right?
No.
All right. So she says, listen, sir, our oil is straight corn oil. I said, okay. She goes, and our fryer burns at 1,800 degrees. At that point, my jaw drops. I'm like, 1,800
It certainly does not.
1,800 degrees, huh? And I heard Nelson or Derek behind me go, what the fuck?
I promise you it does not burn that hot.
And she says, your allergen will be taken care of. I said, that's alchemy. It will absolutely not. I don't want them on there. Just leave it at that. And she looked at me and I looked at her and she goes, okay, I'll take it off. And she skulked into the back all pissed off, right? Well, guess what I get on my food when it comes back?
That exact item.
That exact item. I'm like, motherfucker. So I had one in my mouth and I'm like, is that one of those or is that a piece of rice or some shit? I'm like, I think they fucked up. So then I start looking. Now I find them. I'm pulling them out. I call her over and say, hey, listen, I asked for these not to be in here. They're in here. She then goes back with my food, and I hate returning food.
I know, of course.
You don't do it. It's just not good. She then goes back there, and goes back to the kitchen with my food, and then I hear her berate the cooking staff, and I'm like, oh fuck, what is going to come back in my food? She's berating them about the allergen that she now is officially a fucking expert on. Yep. I'm like, oh my God, I'm fucking dead. So I get home and I died for about 2 hours. That was a good time. Thanks a lot, Applebee's down there in Mansfield, Connecticut. Fuck you guys.
Yep. Oh, hang on. This one's even better. Applebee's, this one's for you.
Yeah, so a shitty end to a good day.
No pun intended.
That. Yeah, well, pun very intended.
You know, it's funny. I used to work for Applebee's.
Did you?
I did, yeah, for a very short time before I started my career in television, actually. And I can tell you, beyond the shadow of a doubt, that Applebee's is probably the most ignorant corporation when it comes to the needs of their diners and such. In fact, back then, they were preparing food items in-house. Now, you're basically in the freezer section of your local grocery store. Everything is basically coming out of a package. They microwave it. They send it to you. I mean,
yeah, I don't doubt that.
And the issue with that is that there's no control over some ingredients that are in there. I remember one time my wife had ordered like a sandwich from this place, and she didn't want avocado, I think, on it or something. And she's like, yeah, can I hold this? And she's like, it comes out of the package already that way, so it's already on there. So she's like, well, I guess if you can't take it off, I will.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like, what the fuck? But like, yeah, don't even get me started with Applebee's. Absolute, like, I understand there are people who like chain restaurants. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're looking for something that's consistent, but like you've got a short list of chain restaurants that you will go to because you know that typically they're very good about these types of requests, you know?
And Applebee's usually has been.
Yeah.
A couple of items of the one in particular I'm talking about, I had to kind of dig for info on. I'm like, all right, do you make these in-house? How do you do it? Blah, blah, blah. And then I found out some things that said, okay, I can't have this shit in my body. But yeah, it sucked. So Applebee's, fuck you. I'm done with you.
Yep. Fuck Applebee's.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck. They're not getting my money anymore. Fuck them.
Yeah, man, terrible. Oh, I know. You know, we're going to get some fucking hate comments because there's people, I love Applebee's, man.
Good, you eat there.
The bourbon,
I'm not.
The Bourbon Street steak with the fucking, the Oreo shake.
Feeling good in the neighborhood, brr.
Oh,
fuck it. Fucking savages.
Yep.
So
Although then again, you're also talking to somebody who's like, ooh, fried chicken from a gas station. Let's go. You know what I mean?
I did have another little adventure this week.
Oh, do tell.
I did.
Yes, that's right. Okay, go on.
I had a chronic trips adventure with Seth.
Woo-hoo.
So Seth stopped by bright and early, I think Wednesday morning. I think it was Wednesday. I don't know. This week is zipped by. So Wednesday, Seth and I got into the truck and we headed down to Delirious, the Maniac Mod Shop. No relation to the Maniacs of the KFL.
No, that is true.
We went down.
Hang on. I feel like I have to put this in the background here for you if you're talking about doing a chronic trip. Go on.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'm down with that. So, well, there was driving involved, so no. But, it's all good. Let's not I don't want to make that implication that me and Grampy Sleepy Medicine were getting together
of course
early in
not.
the morning. Doesn't happen anymore. So we headed down to the mod shop where waiting for us was a completely refurbished trailer that Chronic Trips was able to get a hold of for their kayaks, which we didn't have yet. So why are we getting a trailer for kayaks when we don't have the kayaks? Well, let me tell you, because our next stop was 3 Bells to get the kayaks. So we ended up picking up, I think it was Seth picked up 3 recreationals and 1 10-foot fishing kayak for the Chronic Trips folks to use. We dragged that back with the truck. It's good to go. And Chronic Trips folks, look forward to the adventures on the water because
it's going to be awesome.
Have a whole set of new kayaks now, a little trailer to drag around. This is going to be fucking great.
And Delirious did a bang-up job with this trailer, from what I understand.
He did, yeah. It looks really
good.
And while there's a little bit of flux going on with the use and or storage of this trailer, and I think I may be able to use it for trips that as needed, depending on the schedule. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, but it is funny. It is fucking Chronic Trips colors, which are, as we know, the Joker's colors, which venomous green and bright purple. So
yeah,
this trailer definitely speaks volumes as it hauls ass down the road. Yeah,
it's so awesome.
It's good stuff. No, it was Delirious did a great job. I even mentioned to Seth, I'm like, wow, this thing tracks like perfectly. It wasn't. I forgot I had a trailer on for most of the day.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah, no, he did a great job.
That's awesome, dude.
Great job.
Nice.
Yeah, it was good stuff. Very good stuff. That was my other thing. Then we grabbed lunch. Where did we grab lunch? It wasn't Applebee's. It was it was Red Robin. We stopped by the old Red Robin.
Yum.
Yeah. Yes. Yum. Yes, it was very good. Yum. Red Robin. I didn't get sick from it either because Red Robin gives a shit. Very nice.
How was the service situation there? Because I know we've got a little bit of a track record. Or was this a different location?
Oh, I didn't go to Holyoke. No.
Gotcha.
And dude, it's fucked up. I was just talking to my parents about this yesterday. I said it's so messed up that because I was telling them what happened at Applebee's.
Yeah.
And I said to him, we've had issues with like weekend evening dinners at Red Robin and Holyoke for what fucking months now.
Yeah.
But like if you go during the week, no issues. Like their staff that's been there for years has gotten moved to the middle of the week. I don't know. I don't get it, but you would figure they'd want them on the busy times, or maybe they can't work that. I don't fucking know. But
yeah,
the staff that knows what they're doing is there. It's just you have to know when to go.
Exactly. It's wild.
I did take a trip back there on a Sunday and saw some of the weekday staff there for lunch, and we were lucky enough to be sat in one of their booths, and they took care of us. But
nice.
It's just the weekend evening shifts. The times that you and I have gone a couple times at that time have been. I mean, I know the food service industry is reeling with what's happened over the past couple of years, and they're getting new people in, but there's like learning service, and then there's fucking bad service, and we got bad service.
Oh yeah, you guys got shafted twice.
Yeah.
Sucked,
so
that was bad. That was rough.
Yeah. But no, we grabbed some Red Robin down there in Enfield. They're good folks. They hooked us up, and we had a good little meal. Went off on our way.
That's awesome, dude.
I'd also like to make note of this.
Yep.
So, I asked Seth to give me a crash course in a field that he's involved with that might affect my household down the road. So, I wanted my wife involved in this crash course, and she was finishing up. She was wrapping up the day's work. And we had about an hour. I said, what do you want to do for an hour, Seth? He goes, I don't know. He goes, so you want to play some video games? I got a fucking room full of video games. Let's do that. He goes, okay. So we tried playing some Dr. Mario. Seth's like, yeah, I haven't played this ever. So I'm like, okay, cool. Well, I whooped his ass and we just kind of moved on from that. I said,
sure.
It wasn't even fun. He said, oh, you got a 64, an N64. I haven't played Mario Kart in years. I said, okay. I think me and Seth just found something to bond over because he kept it. He beat me.
What?
You know?
Really?
Yeah, he gave me an ass whooping, and I'm feeling the need for rematch. Like this was a blast.
Wow.
Seth, we were talking shit, running our mouths. We had a great time playing.
That's awesome, man.
Some N64 Mario Kart. So, Seth, the challenge. I'm going to lay the challenge bare. Just anytime you name the date and you name the time, and I will be here. You know where I live.
It's true.
Mario Kart 64 is on. So, yeah.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah. Fucking yeah. Now, I was mentioning to him, I'm like, one of my roommates, who has unfortunately since passed on
Yep.
from the military, he and I would have a ritual before we went out on Friday nights or Saturday nights. We would sit down with a couple of cold beverages,
Sure.
usually a 30 pack of them, and we would play Mario Kart 64, every race forwards, then every race in reverse backwards.
Really?
Right? And then we would have one. If it was still close, we'd have a predetermined tiebreaker race. Because it happens sometimes. We'd go through.
Oh yeah.
32 races and we'd be 16-16.
Yeah.
And then
you
we'd
gotta,
have to go to
you got to break
gotta go
that
for the
tie.
tiebreaker.
Yeah.
Yeah. Usually it was Koopa Beach, but you got speed on Koopa Beach, man. Wow. So yeah, I told that to Seth, and I'm like, anytime you want to take that challenge, Seth, anytime.
People
I'm
are
waiting.
crazy for Mario Kart.
It's
Crazy for it.
Dude, that's the thing. Like,
It's a perfect racing game.
when you take a game that has really no timestamp to it, it's fucking
Yeah.
cartoon characters on go-karts.
Yeah.
There's no time. It's not like a Madden where I can't wait to play next year's Madden. because
Exactly.
The rosters will be right, or this or that, or it'll happen. They're timeless games. They're well made. The signature for every stupid Mario game on Nintendo on any system is usually Mario games have great play control. And you don't need incredible graphics. You can have incredible graphics, but if your play control sucks, nobody will play the game. Over and over.
It's
again.
not fun. Yeah.
But the play control, even on a Nintendo 64, is still so good for that game. Now the graphics are what they are from the time, but you
Sure.
can't do anything about that.
Yeah.
But my God, it never stops being fun.
No, it's true. Yeah, it's
know?
it's always good. It is. It's like the perfect racing game. It's got all these other elements. It's awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
it.
Exactly.
I love it.
So there's my tangent. What did you do this week, my friend?
So this week I had a lot going on. So, we had recorded last Monday, and I have been a machine when it comes to editing for both of these shows. So I cranked out Jigs and Bigs, got the artwork all set, got everything uploaded and lined up and everything, put that show together. And last week's show was great. I listened to it back on Tuesday, and I'm like, man, this is so entertaining. The coffee commercial, there's a couple of Easter eggs that are in the end. I had an Easter egg with Jordan from our interview that I threw back there. So if you guys missed that, go back to the end of the show and give it a listen. It's good stuff. I even, with the song last week, I even tied it in with the mock-up ad from the beginning using Lightning Hopkins' Coffee House Blues.
Yes.
One of my favorite blues songs of all time. I love it. One of the best lines ever is in that song. He says, "If you shut your mouth, woman, I will buy you a coffee house."
Wow.
And first time I ever heard that, and then I met my wife, and I was just like, wow. I'm like, she loves coffee as much as I do. I'm like, I feel like this is poignant. She and I slow danced to that song at my wedding. It was great. It was great. So, I cranked out the show. Everything is good. And I'm like, man, I have since left my Monday scheduled trivia night. So now I've got Monday evenings open, which is kind of weird because tonight, being a Monday, I actually have trivia to host tonight, but that's because I'm bumping my Thursday to Monday because I have a private event on Thursday, and they don't want to lose out this week. So it actually works out great for everybody. But last week, I was able to get out and do a little bit of fishing. So after dinner, I had packed up the yak and had decided I was going to go ahead and give it a go. I bought some new batteries for my headlamp. And went out and just gave it a send. And what did I catch anything last Monday night? I don't think that I did, actually. I don't think I caught a damn thing Monday night. I had a great time doing it. Not catching anything. Had a real good time out there Monday. No. I take that back. I did an evening trip, and I did catch What the hell am I talking about? I caught 3.
I don't know, you're shortchanging yourself.
I am shortchanging myself. Yeah, my memory is not serving me well. Yeah, I caught 3. It was pretty good, and I fished some of the same spots that I have been fishing at the same body of water that I've been kind of working really, really, really well. I had gone and had been focusing on some of those same areas. Had a great time. Took an amazing picture of the moon as I was coming back into the ramp. It was just a whole lot of fun. Got chased out by some mosquitoes. They were eating me alive because I forgot to spray on my 40% DEET bug spray.
Hey, I'm glad you say that.
Yeah?
I don't know if this is true or not. I don't know if it's just one of those wacky internet memes somebody makes up to start shit.
Yeah.
But a buddy of mine actually sent me a meme that said one of the biggest things that can deter fish from biting a lure is if you've sprayed your hands with anything with DEET on it and handled the lure. DEET is that potent where fish will stay the fuck away from it. I don't doubt that.
Yeah, I don't doubt that either.
But I'm also not saying it's God's given truth because I have no idea. I was given to me. Who knows what it is?
Yeah.
Start the discussion now, folks. I don't know. I'm not saying one way or the other.
That's really interesting. I normally don't spray my hands. It's usually what I do is I spray my just my legs, my legs, the area that's exposed, and even because I'll wear a buff around my neck at night when the bugs start getting bad, and then I'll put my hood up on top of that, so I've got a double layer. But I wear a long sleeve every time I'm in the kayak, so really it's just around my hands. But I don't find that it's too bad.
I'll spray the back of my hands in bad places in Maine and Minnesota.
Sometimes you have to, for sure. And I mean, Friday when I had gone out, it was a bit of a different tale. We'll get there. But yeah, that's interesting. I could definitely see that would be the case. Although, you know what? On the other hand, I have heard that people say, like, if you're like on your boat and you have to spray something with WD-40 and you get that scent on your bait, that it's like an attractant.
Well, you know what it's made out of, right?
WD-40?
Yeah, WD-40's main ingredient's fish oil.
Oh, really?
So that's why.
No shit.
You can spray lures with it. Yeah, it's fish oil.
Huh. Good to know.
To my knowledge, it's their main ingredient. I have not looked at the back of a can of WD-40 ever, but
that may have changed too. They may have come up with something that's cheaper or synthetic or whatever. But no shit. That's interesting to know. But so there's all kinds of stuff, and also I do like to use the garlic chartreuse JJ's Magic. And that if you ask me how I know, but if you spill a little bit in the bottom of your kayak trying to add a little bit to the tail of a paddle tail, it will also deter the skeeters. It does pretty good.
And the vampires.
And your wife. Yeah, it's pretty good. So let's shifting gears here. So Monday was really good. I came back and I was like, man, that is so much fun. I love night fishing. It's great. So then I go out again on, I think it was Tuesday morning that I had gone out. No, it wasn't. It was Wednesday I had gone out. Wednesday, I had fished a separate section of the pond, going looking for fish over there. It was absolutely fruitless. And then on the way back in, I happened to hook into a nibbler in one of the spots where I was having success. So let's see. Then that brings us to the next morning, Thursday. I had gone out that morning. Did a little bit more experimenting in a part of this pond that I have never been in before. And I noticed something that I thought I had a good bead on the grass in this area. I was wrong. There is so much, like a jungle back there. And this is where we spent a good chunk of our night Friday night was over in this grass. Now, when I was out there, I had a lot of wind kind of blowing me around, and this grass was so thick, I had to take my pedal drive and lift it up and use the paddle to kind of motion around, but the wind was so crazy, it was just pushing me right into the bank. So I said, okay, I know this is here. Cool. We'll go ahead. We'll make use of it at another time, fish a little bit, drop the pedal drive, started making my way back out. I picked up one over by the ramp on my way back to the ramp, and life was good. Life was very good. But these are all nibblers. I noted today, one of our, a good friend of mine, Eric Dowd, he had posted a comment on a reel that I had posted late Friday night, and he had said, he's like, man, 2022 has been sucking for me. He's like, the biggest fish I caught this year was 4.2 pounds, which is good. But he's like, last year I had like 3 6s. He's just like, I don't know what it is about this year. It's just crazy. And I told him, I said, you know what, man, I can agree. The biggest fish I have hooked into this year has been 17 and a quarter. It was that one that I entered into the Jigs and Bigs tournament. And I was just like, I don't know what's going on with me. Obviously, it's just in the areas that I'm fishing. But everywhere I've gone, they've all been in this sweet spot of like 10 to 14, with the heaviest being right around 11 and 12 inches. You know?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I do. I'm actually, now if you want to bring this up, I wasn't ready for this, but give me 1 second here.
Well, I'll keep going. You go ahead and
you keep going. I'm pulling something up here. Go ahead.
So I had gone and I had looked into, so as the whole week was going on, I had reached out to my buddy Paul. And I love trying to fish with Paul at least once a week to try and get out. And the last time we had fished, it was a Monday evening, and we bank fished. And I told him, I said, look, man, I go, it's really, I go, I'm finding that even if it's just a couple hours, I said, why don't you just pack up your yak, bring it to work. After you're done with everything else, you got everything all set, then we'll just go ahead and just drop them in the water. We'll be good to go. And as it would happen to, work out later that week from our last trip together, I managed to land Friday evening off from my regular trivia night. At Casa de Lisa, they had a private party in there. So I decided I was just going to go and take that night, and basically extend the Father's Day weekend even further by taking Friday night. So Paul and I had got together, or we had planned to get together, and it was only, I think maybe that morning that he had confirmed that he was in. So, which was great. And I told him, I said, he was a little apprehensive about getting in the kayak at night for the first time. He's like, I've never done it, and I said, well, I go, think about it like this. You and I have often, been sent seaworthy right at first light. I go, it's like that, but in reverse. I go, my goal is to get out while the sun there's still plenty of daylight. You know what I mean? Like, we can get out there, but I want that sweet spot where the sun starts going down, and we'll just stay out as late as we can. We'll just play it by ear. We'll just go ahead and do that. So I tracked this trip, and we did 5 miles, which was awesome. Like, we went up and down the long way of this pond twice. And, we were just having a great time. It was unbelievable. So I got there really early. I had some stuff that I wanted to tie on, knowing that we were going to spend some time in this back pocket where all the weed growth was. And we were going to throw some stuff specifically on that those heavy matted weed beds that were up there. So I had thrown on a topwater frog, and I also had a swim jig, a heavier one, so I could get down past those weeds and then kind of like work through them. And I kind of stuck to those. We each had a tap on the topwater frog, and that was it. He had only gotten there, like, he had some work shit that had come up, and then you'll hear about the details in the FTG. But he'd only gotten on the water, I think it was probably about 8 or 8:15 when he had actually gotten on the water. He was much later showing up, and what had happened for me was I had launched the boat, went around, just to visit a couple of the spots. I was specifically staying nearby the launch so that when he got there, I could paddle over, and then we could leave, and go down into the weeds, into the jungle, and start throwing around some frogs. So I'm over there just kind of like biding my time. And 2 things happened. So I'm going to share the first one and why this is ridiculous. So I catch one fish. Right. It's a little nibbler, and I have them in my net, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to record a little video here. We'll start putting together some content. Maybe tonight's going to be a big night. I'll put together a whole bunch of stuff as best I can, and, we'll put something together, and then we'll just, I'll have something to post. So I took a little video just saying, hey, we're starting the nibbler action early, blah, 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 blah. And that was it. I posted that as a reel because the turn that it took, we didn't catch shit for the rest of the night. And I put a reel up based on that because I kind of think that maybe I jinxed us by recording this little video clip. I think that's something that may have actually happened. So I posted a reel. It's getting lots of engagement right now, and it does perfectly sum up our experience that night. But what's really funny, and Sean, you're going to love this. You've played trivia at a handful of the venues, the establishments that have me regularly during the week. You've never played in Northampton, however.
True.
In Northampton, there is, I will say it rivals as one of the most funny team name hotbeds. You know, one of the elements about trivia that people like so much is coming up with a funny, interesting team name. Like when I was in college, my team name was called Enter the Drag Queen. And it was funny because it was a sort of a play on like old kung fu movies, Enter the Dragon, you know what I mean? And people love this stuff. And the further into the gutter it goes, the better. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just the way I look for it. So I'm on the water, and this is just after I released that fish. I just recorded that video. I just released the fish, and I'm sitting there in my yak, and I take another couple of casts, and I hear some paddling behind me. And I hear somebody go, "Is that Bobby Roast Beef?" And here I am thinking it's all like one of you jig heads out there in listening to the show, and like you see the pics of me and my boat, and you're like, "Oh yeah, that's Bobby, great." And I was like, "Yeah, who's that?" And I'm like, I didn't even turn around yet. And what came out of this gentleman's mouth made me laugh so much I nearly fell out of the boat. He goes, "Wilma Dickfit."
Well, his dick fit in you in the fish? What?
Wilma Dickfit is the name of his trivia team.
Oh.
That's the name of his trivia team. Once he said that, I knew exactly who it was. And I then turned the boat around, and I look over, and I was like, no shit. I'm like, I'm the only guy you could bump into on the water. Say that, and I'm not going to get pissed off. Like, what the fuck is that?
Oh, I was getting scared for you there.
No.
Once you said someone came up and creeped up on you on the water there.
And then shouted Wilma Dickfit?
Yeah, I forgot all about the trivia precursor to this story and said, "Oh my God, Bobby, do you have a knife?"
So he's like, he's there with the whole squad is out in their kayaks and everything, and they're doing their thing, having a great time. They're like, "Oh yeah," they're like, "Oh, I don't know you fish here. That's awesome, man. You ever catch anything good?" I was like, "Yeah, I have caught some good fish here." I'm like, "Not lately," but I'm working on it. So we had a good conversation, a real good laugh. They headed out on their way, and then Paul had arrived, and we had fished. Like I said, we got deep in the thick grass. We each had a couple of good taps on a topwater frog, but couldn't get onto anything. We had gone to the extreme other end of this pond and fished over there and not had so much of a nibble. I mean, when it got really dark, I started just throwing a Texas-rigged weightless Senko, when it got like super, super dark. Because it seems like most of the fish that I had been catching, now granted this is during the day, is at night. Or not at night. It's very shallow. So I was just trying to throw stuff, and there's a lot of overhanging brush that goes over the water's edge. So casting's a little bit tricky. Paul got a good lesson in headlamps because we had our red lights on, and then there was a spot where Paul was he had gotten hung up casting a whopper plopper into a laydown with a bunch of big branches that were way up over the surface of the body of water. Like, this is a fresh laydown. So he casts his whopper plopper, he gets it tied up over there, and he's like, "Oh, I can't freaking see it." So he puts his white light on, and there was just this giant swarm of mosquitoes. And he's like, oh my God, dude, no, they're everywhere." It was so bad.
Yep, everyone learns the red light lesson.
Yeah, the red light lesson. Oh, my goodness. But it's funny, at some point now, maybe I've never noticed this, but have you ever noticed that the mosquito, like the feed, is like early in the evening and then they lighten up later on?
Yeah, I think it's because the bats come out and thin them out.
Yeah, that very well could be it. And then so that we had noticed, but because later on in the night on our way back, now there was that was when the cold front happened. Now, yep. You could absolutely tell the difference because the temp had dropped so much. I think it was when I pushed off, I think it was like 79 or 80 degrees when I had pushed off. And I think when we came back in, it was like 65.
And it wasn't even midnight, was it?
It was midnight. Oh. It was 12 or 12:15 when we ended our trip. And it was like 65. It may have even been a little bit colder. Last night, it got down to 48.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
cold. It's been a cold year.
It's wild. It's absolutely bananas. And I said to him, I was like, wow, this is crazy. I'm like, so we're paddling in, white lights on, no problems, no bugs. I'm like, okay, we're good. Interesting stuff happens over at that pond. There was, as we had crossed past the boat launch, we had gone past the ramp again, and there was like, I don't know if it was a band practicing, but it was late. It was after 10:30. I couldn't believe it. Or like, I don't know, somebody just cranking like their stereo, or like there was this loud music coming from wherever. I was like, we're going to hear cops come by here. I promise you. We never heard it. We very well may have been at the opposite side of the pond at the time. We came back and it was dead silent though. But we had a good time. It was fun, And Paul was like, same thing. He goes, it's funny. He goes, I was imagining like how it was going to be like fishing at night here, like fishing with your eyes closed. Like it was going to be that pitch black. He's like, even with this red light off, like the sky is still illuminated enough to where, your eyes can adjust and you're not going to see great, but you'll see something,
Yep.
And I'm like, yeah, your eyes adjust to it and it's really not too bad. So he had a good experience. I had a great experience. It was a lot of fun. Would have been better if we would have caught some fish, but it is what it is. A lot of fun though, man. We had a really, really, really good time. But that whole Wilma Dick fit thing, wow. I was like, I cannot wait to tell that story on the podcast. And I told him, I was like, I'm going to give you a shout out on the podcast. Make sure you listen. So I'm sure he's not going to listen, but Wilma Dick fit. And I'm like, my God.
The real question is, will it?
I'm going to say no.
Good.
I'm going to say no.
Answer.
I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say no, it won't. So we'll leave it at that. The thing is, it's a big team. It's like 8 people.
Oh my God.
It's crazy. Another cool thing that happened to me at trivia was this last week. I had a team that's played now only twice in a row, called Fart Society. And Fart Society is made up, from what I gather, it's made up of a bunch of good folks that work over at Night Owl Tattoo in Northampton. And one of their players, Patrick, who's been at a number of my trivia nights before, not even necessarily playing, but just hanging out while I happened to be there. During the game, he had to do Drinko. And like a champ, he drank this ridiculous beverage. But he made a caricature of me hosting trivia. Did you see the picture of this, Sean?
I did. I did. That was excellent.
It was great. I loved it. Absolutely. So I have it. I'm going to throw it in a frame, and I'm going to hang it up down here. And it's going to be good stuff. I'm very, very excited about that. I was like, that is freaking cool. But it got me thinking, it's time to get a fishing tattoo.
Okay.
It's time to do it. Like, I got to do it.
So what are you thinking?
I'm kind of not sure. I obviously want to do a largemouth tattoo. But I'm thinking something, kind of experimental in a way. Something a little interpretive, maybe. So I'll figure a couple of things out. We're recording the show right now, guys, and my wife comes downstairs and is going into the laundry room, and now she is actively changing her clothes right in front of me, like an absolute freak of nature. So if I sound a little bit distracted, that's why I am. Love you, dear. Nice.
Do we need to take a break? What do you need? About 35, 40 seconds?
No. We're good. I think actually by talking about her, I chased her away. I think that's so perfect.
Just to contrast that, my wife knew I was recording this morning, and she's really been awesome lately, and came up and brought me a breakfast sandwich, and I said thank you.
See, that's
then
awesome.
she came up and brought me a freshly baked banana chocolate chip muffin.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So
my game's been spot on lately somehow. I don't know.
I was going to say either that or keep an eye out for like an Amazon truck with like a giant delivery or something like that. Like, what did you do?
Yeah.
That's at least how it works in my house. Like, oh, look what I did. It's so nice. Look. Oh, hey, all of a sudden we have this.
Here's an egg sandwich.
Here's an egg sandwich. Bananas, man. So yeah, I mean, I didn't get out this weekend. Saturday, I toyed around with the idea of going out Saturday morning, and this weekend at our house was recital weekend. Having 2 daughters and a wife. My wife is a dance mom. My oldest daughter assists at this dance studio they go to. They both go to Ohana. All 3 of them go to Ohana, and it was their recital weekend. And I had an event. I had a graduation party that I had to work Saturday night. So I wasn't able to go to the show. It's okay. I've seen so many of these over my life. I can live without it. But they went and they did their thing. And this is like recital weekend's just, I don't want to say like high stress, but there's a lot going on. Plus, this year, Chloe had to work. She actually had to work on Father's Day the entire evening. She missed out on all the festivities over at my parents' place. So it was an interesting one. But so, you know, I needed to spend a little bit of time with the dogs. They've been neglected a little bit. I got a little bit of prep work done this week. For some trivia stuff and, you know, handling activations, getting some stuff together for some upcoming events. I've only got one wedding on the schedule for July, and I only have one on the schedule for August. So I'm in a really, really good position with both of those as far as the preparation end of it, you know, barring any changes that happen. So through the next couple of months, I'm expecting to be fishing fairly smoothly. And this weekend, I put on the schedule Ascend with Delirious, which has been long overdue, in my opinion. It's going to be a good time. I'm not sure where we're going to go, though, so we still got to toy that around. And that is the weekend of the 4th. We're planning on it.
Very nice.
Yeah, it'll be fun. And then I've been telling Elise the same thing. Elise has been absolutely killing it on the water. Absolutely been killing it. So she's been going out, getting all over the place. And then I got to give a shout out to Jordan, too. Because I've been looking into that Reel 'em In that he had mentioned on the last week's show.
Yeah.
I think is it Cheshire Lake? I think it's Cheshire Lake.
I don't remember. It's in Tennessee, right?
It's in Tennessee. Yeah, I think it's Cheshire Lake. And I'm looking into it, man. I think we need to do another trip. And I mentioned it to my dad, and he's like, count me in. I'm doing it. I was like, all right, let's do it. It's going to be awesome. So, yeah, good stuff, man. Like, it's been a really good week. Cannot complain. It's been fun. Well, the complaining will come in FTG, and it has to do with Friday night.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear that.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one.
Now, what we wanted to tackle
for
this hot topic this week, it's not too hot of a topic. It's just some chit chat. We wanted to kind of go over what we have coming up for the skeletal outline of the rest of this summer, because there is a lot of shit.
Yeah, there is. There's a lot going on. And
God.
I mean, some of this stuff is also very loose, where especially on my end, where I've got a lot of things that aren't 100% confirmed. Because I've got inquiries for dates and things like that I have to get settled, but
yeah, well, mine's the opposite.
Yours is the opposite. Yeah, you're locked down, locked and loaded.
Yeah, so I'm looking at mine right now. So, this coming weekend, got an EKF event in Oneida, that is up in New York, up by Syracuse. That following week, I'm all over the place. You guys, should we let people know what's going on for the next couple shows right now, but without spoiling who or what's involved?
Yeah. We'll go. We can do that.
I'm going to be on the road a little bit, and my recording schedule is shot right in the foot. So we're going to have a couple guest hosts on over the next couple weeks to fill in for me while I am traveling around the country doing some shit. So get ready. There's going to be a couple of fun shows coming up, and I'll be giving some updates from the road on how things are going, because I have some absolutely wacky stops after that Oneida. There is some fun coming, but I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna be video documenting it, and then I'll send Bobby. I'll send you the clips.
Yep. Perfect.
And you go ahead and do whatever you got to do with them. So yeah, the next couple weeks is up in the air, and then once July, we settle back into July. There's a Three Bells event on the 10th. That's the number 4 event for them.
Yep.
Middle of July, EKF comes to the Connecticut River. Ooh.
Yep.
The end of July, we got the MAKB West is doing another event, our 5th. And then the end of July, the last weekend of July, the Three Bells trifecta. I will be out on the salt.
That's trifecta.
Having some fun in the salt.
Are we planning on being at the reception for the tail end of that again?
I don't know. We'll have to contact Lauren.
We'll have to talk to Lauren. If that's the case, this is a great time to go ahead and lock that in, because that would be, I believe, on the 31st.
Yes.
Yeah, it would be on the 31st. So yeah, that would be a great time to lock that in. I'm 100% into it. Last year was a blast, and I would love to do it.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yep.
It was a really good time.
Good stuff.
I'll be down there the whole weekend.
Yep.
I think Nelson and I are camping down there, even though it's not very much of a ride. But
you know what?
Nelson Nelson wants to hit it this year because he's a saltwater guy. I'm out there
Yeah.
catching fluke like an idiot. Hey, look at me, I got a fluke. Because I'm stupid.
Dude, I might want to get in on that.
Dude, I'm going out there with I think Sarah Pendergast, maybe Chris Pendergast. I think Rachel's coming up from Jersey. I'm literally doing that. I'm sitting out in the sun. I'm getting a tan. I'm having some fun with the fluke and the sea robins because I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
If I catch anything else, it's bonus. I'm not worried about it.
100%. I that might be worth checking out.
Bobby and the Salt. Think of the content.
It might, 100%. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So that's July, and then August. Man, August is just chock full of stuff. I'm not going to say what's going on the first weekend. That is not my deal to blow up. That will happen
soon.
Stay tuned on that, folks, for the first weekend of August. And then second week in August, we got an MAKB West event.
Yep.
Third week in August, we've got the next to last Three Bells event. And then August 27th to 28th is an EKF and KBF event. I know I'll be fishing just the 27th, not the 28th, because we're on to the one-day things. I like those better. And then so does Nelson, and honestly, Russ and Tim were all about it too. The second day is great if you're into it.
Yeah.
We just go up there, we do the one day, and we're good to go. Then it's a party.
I'm telling you, man, I like the idea that's so much more.
Yeah, it's good. It works out a lot better for us. But once we get into September, things space out a little bit, but not much. I mean, I'll cover the fall too. Fuck it. We were just going to do this as summer fun, but I mean, the fall, we got the EKF Championship is September 10th and 11th up at Champlain. September 17th is the final Western event for MAKB. We're at Lake Ashmere. September 24th is the Three Bells Championship. And then October, we've got the first is the MAKB State Championship. We're doing that at Worcester.
Yep.
And then the 19th and 20th, 19th to 21st. Nelson and I are still on the fence on this. We both qualified, but due to logistics of actually doing this, the KBF National Championship, we may or may not go. We're not, whatever happens.
Yep.
And then
where is that?
Kentucky Lake, Tennessee.
Oh, okay.
And then October 29th, we got the MAKB Fall Brawl. There is a Summer Brawl in there somewhere too. I think it's on a date that I can't make, and I didn't write it down. This is my personal calendar. So all the, events I'm trying to hit.
Sure.
And I don't think that one was on the menu, but a lot of stuff coming up. I mean, if you're in New England or the surrounding states, there's plenty of fishing to do, competitive throughout the summer and fall. If you're not doing the competitive things, you can talk to my man Roast Beef, and he likes to fish with people. Just saying. I do
100%. 100%. I have very little lined up. Like I said, I've got coming up on the first week of July. I've got a trip with Delirious lined up. I'm also toying around with locking in some dates to do a little bit more like travel type stuff. I've been talking with Todd Grubb and Becca about doing like a trip out toward either the eastern part of Mass or maybe going up into New Hampshire or something, and just doing something, whether it's carp fishing or truck camping or a combination of the two. Or I'm game for everything, 100% down for anything. So coming up, I think maybe this weekend, I'm still waiting on some screens for my, I didn't talk about this.
Oh,
so I'm not sure if I mentioned this on the show the other day, that I have a cracked taillight on my 4Runner.
Oh no.
Yeah. I told you about this, how there was this heavy equipment on my street, and I had to cover an event for a colleague of mine. So I was leaving the house at like 5:30 in the morning, and they put this big frame that's used when they're digging a big trench, so the sides don't cave in while they're putting in new infrastructure or whatever down there. Yep. And they left this thing parked right in the middle of my street, like parked right across from my driveway. And as I was backing out, I was like, I couldn't see it because, of course, what I'm looking at in my camera is hollow. And I was like, no, it looks like I'm good. I think I've cleared it, and crack the taillight. Yep. Big pain in the ass. So I recently had just ordered some aftermarket ones because I'm like, so I can pay out the nose for the original Toyota stuff and have the same, OEM fixture put in. I was like, or I could just shop around and then just do an upgrade and go full LED, which is what I did because for the money, it was a better decision. So
Nice.
yeah, so that's what I'm doing. I'm waiting on those to show up. But the one thing I need left are some window covers that are mesh material, so I can leave the windows down and I'm not like baking inside of the 4Runner while I'm sleeping. So the test mission is coming very soon. I'm not sure if that's going to be actually going out somewhere, or if I'm just going to set everything up in the backyard, sleep in it. But I'll tell you what, after setting up the mattress and laying down on it, I'm like, I could see this being just fine. For short trips, just fine.
And I have a decision to make. I realized this week I might not truck camp at Oneida.
Oh, really? What are you thinking?
I might have to just bring my standard tent,
traditional tent. Yeah.
Because if I'm truck camping and I have to get up at 4:00 in the morning and get to a launch, now I have to break down a tent.
Oh yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah.
So I'm really on the fence. I got to take a look at. I have my truck stuff out in the garage. I haven't even opened it yet. I'll be looking at it to see if it's one of those ones you can just pull right out and that's it, or if I have to disassemble. If I have to disassemble it, then it's not coming. I'm just gonna. I'll wait. I have another opportunity to use it this year, so I'm not gonna get bent out of shape about it. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. Yeah,
good stuff. Good stuff. But yeah, I mean, I like my calendar comparatively. There's very little that's actually on there. Some of those trips I may hit up. I especially am interested in the trifecta. That could be a lot of fun. Just just to give it a shot. Try it out. Might also be kind of good opportunity to truck camp down there as well.
Yes, sir. I mean, Nelson and I are riding down there, so you could always. I don't know what the parking is with a trailer. We're camping down there in a trailer, so
yeah. I did
camping.
Modify my kayak this week a little bit.
Oh, what'd you do to it?
I took the landing gear and I slid it further up closer to the back of the seat to provide more space in the back. And that bag that I'm using, that tackle bag, now I've got fixed and strapped in secure right behind me. But it's so nice because from a seated position, if I'm using like the rod holders, I can easily reach right back there and it's all right there. But it offers me a little bit more space if I wanted to do like a cooler, before the landing gear kind of like split that space and like almost like an 80-20 sort of split. So there was this little narrow spot where I could drop a money bag or something else in there, but it really wasn't like the best use of that space that was there, and it pushed the bag a little bit further, like probably about 10 inches back further. Moving it all up actually seemed to be a pretty nice little setup, so it works pretty good.
I hate to say this, that's how I set mine up from the get-go. I don't know if you ever noticed mine is actually that way. I have it bumped all the way up as far as it'll go, the landing gear or the side kick, so that I have the maximum space in the back and everything's all pretty much flush up against itself. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't know why I never thought about sliding that bar up further, but I'm like, it works great. It does make it a little bit tricky for the way that it sits on the trailer. I do have to slide the kayak back a little bit before I drop the landing gear back down, but no problem. That's easy. Yep. Unbelievable.
One last thing I want to come back around on before we go to break.
Yeah.
When we started talking about the year you've been having and the year Justin was having and smaller fish and et cetera.
Yep. So
I'm just looking at my records here, right? Because this is why I keep these things, see where I'm at. Now, I'm not expecting to have a fantastic year this year. Right now, I don't think anything will match 2020. 2020 was a banner year for me.
Yeah.
It was crazy. But 2019 and 2021 are just that next level. All right.
Gotcha.
For years that I've done fishing or really tracked all this stuff, 19 and 21 are right behind 20. And right now, just as far as bass, right?
Yeah.
Just largemouth and smallmouth, I'm 12 fish off of 2019. 2019, I had this on the 18th of June, I had 160 bass.
Yep.
This year I have 148. Now, comparatively, 2020. I was in between 280 and 300 because I go by 20s on this one graph.
Yep.
Right. So, all right, I'm in the ballpark. I might not have the greatest year, but I'm definitely not going to have my worst. But here's where I pop in. So this being compared to 2019, right? I'm down on 2019. 2019, I finished the year with 64 largemouth and smallmouth over 17 inches, right? And I finished the same number with 2020. And then 2021, I had a drop off. I only had 33. Right now, I'm at 21 of them. And it's funny because I'm only really at this point, like I did not figure this year was going to unfold the way it did. I thought I was going to have more time to fish. And I've been fishing one time a week or less.
Yeah.
I've been getting murdered here, and I'm still catching. I've got 21 largemouth over 17 inches.
Yeah.
And they're coming at the times I need them.
Yeah, exactly.
So they're coming during tournaments. And I mean, if this is where I'm at this year, I mean, every year is different, but it's just kind of interesting to see that I'm going to finish with a good amount of 17 or over as long as the trend continues.
Yeah. And that's the thing. You nailed it. Every year is different. There's going to be ebbs and flows constantly. Like we see that even in the podcast, like we see like it's all about the trend and widening that scope to see what is the overall trend to kind of see how that goes. Cause you're going to have peaks and valleys, anytime you do any of this stuff, you're going to notice these things and who knows. There is like, that's the thing. I haven't A-B'd any like my previous years versus this year. It's just kind of like a gross, like, okay, well, I know that I've caught larger fish last year and more frequently than this current year. But also one of the major differences is that this year I'm focusing on very, very local spots, Yeah. So,
exactly.
and that's why I'm taking it with a grain of salt.
I mean, I don't know what to make out of this year. It seems like I mean, there's a way I think I can look at it to prove my theory here or disprove my theory. But I think it looks like with the amount of times I've been fishing, the amount of fish I've caught and the number and the size of the fish I caught.
Yep.
While I haven't gotten out, I've been extraordinarily efficient when I've been on the water with getting fish that matter. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. I mean, my tournament finishes, I've not been displeased with at all. I mean, a couple here and there, but you can't win them all.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm getting the fish I need to keep advancing with other stuff. But we'll talk about tournaments a little bit. I just figured I'd kind of bump that up and throw that out there that, even though this is a down year for the amount of time I've been on the water, I'm still keeping my numbers up by being more efficient somehow. And I'll live with it.
That's a good thing.
It is a good thing.
Yeah.
You ready for a break, buddy?
Let's take a break, dude. We'll take a quick break, guys. When we get back, in just the tip, we're talking about cold fronts, which I'm going to throw a question out there because weather and everything is one of these things that I still am not 100% dialed in on. Like, there's a bunch of different things I'm trying to like put patterns together to know what trends follow, what weather patterns that we're dealing with. So I'm very interested in this one, but in FTG, oh man, we're going to talk about some good stuff. We are going to talk about some good stuff. And for the second week in a row in FTG, I have photographic evidence to provide to you, the listener. We've got all that plus our tourney stuff to go over with you guys. You're not going to want to miss it. Much more good jigs and big stuff coming up right after this. Jigs and Bigs wants to take a moment to say thank you to our partners for helping us continue to push the limits of our fishing adventures and bring you amazing long-form content. We want to thank Old Glory Outdoors in East Brookfield, Massachusetts. Old Glory has an amazing selection of fishing tackle, including 6th Sense, Guggen Baits, X-Zone Lures, Shimano, Daiwa, Lew's, 13 Fishing, Arc Rods, and many more. Use promo code Jigs and Bigs at oldgloryoutdoors.com and in-store to save yourself some money and support the show. For all your premium kayak needs, we partner with Three Bells Outfitters, located along Smith Cove in Niantic, Connecticut. Three Bells is your go-to location for kayaks and accessories from Hobie, Native, Bonafide, Jackson, Yak Attack, Naqua, Boondocks, Burley Pro, and many more. Financing options are available to upgrade you and your kayak fishing experience. White glove delivery service is also available. Visit threebellsoutfitters.com for more info, and don't forget to tell them that Jigs and Bigs sent you. When it comes to high-quality polarized sunglasses, we've partnered with Torres. They provide stylish sunglasses in a variety of frames that are light and fit comfortably on your face. The polarization cuts glare and allows you to see the whole picture, helping you identify what's below the water's surface. They have a 60-day, risk-free trial, lifetime warranty, and free shipping. Plus, you can save yourself 10% with the code JIGSandBIGS10 at checkout. Visit Toreg.com to check out their selection. That's www.torege.com. Again, we cannot thank our partners enough for their support. Please consider supporting them and supporting the show in the same process. Thanks.
Bobby and Sean now have a special presentation for us all. They'd like to give everyone just the tip.
Cold fronts.
Cold fronts. Let's talk some cold fronts.
Let's talk about cold fronts.
We got fucking waxed by a cold front this weekend.
We did.
But I knew it was coming.
Yep.
And I adjusted appropriately and went out and did my thing.
Gotcha.
And did it successfully. So let me tell you what I look for on to recognize a cold front. So we've made no secret that we use Weather Underground.
Yep.
I use it a lot. I think you use it
just
sparingly.
as much.
Okay,
Yeah.
Good. All right. So we're both on the same page with that. So when I look at Weather Underground, they give you a series of graphs when you click on. I usually go right to the 10-day forecast. So whatever area I'm fishing. Now again, you want to tailor your area and try to find a local weather station, not the local airport, which might be 50 miles away.
Yeah.
Look around. Somebody's probably got one of those home weather stations that provides a feed out. So you can actually see the data on that. And that's one of the things that I guess the forecast is compiled of. So I look at the 10-day. And when I do that, if you look at the temperature is the biggest indicator, I think, for a cold front. You should see what looks like a sine wave. Bobby, you and I know what a sine wave is. If you're not into any electronics at all, it's just, how do we describe a sine wave? It's
like rolling it's a mountain range.
Yeah, it's a measurement of electricity, right?
Literally peaks and valleys.
It's a peak and a valley.
Yeah.
Is a sine wave. So you're going to see that. And if you see that go out of whack anywhere, if it just looks like it goes flat at one point, that's literally a cold front.
Yeah.
Or it should, like at night, if it should come back up and you see it peter out, that's where your cold front hits. But you just look for the pattern, and wherever that pattern deviates, that's your cold front. Mm-hmm. So that's how I recognize them. Then I look at the temperature. Like the easiest way is if you see over a 10-degree drop, that's when I start getting worried.
Yeah.
I found like 5, 6, 7 degrees doesn't seem to make too much of a difference. If it is a cold front, it's a minor one, or it's just something fluctuating where the temperature's dropping a little bit. Maybe it's cloudy, or maybe it's this, maybe it's, you don't know. But that cold front, when you see one that's over 10 degrees, that's murder. So that means you are now adjusting your fishing, or at least I am. This weekend, there was a 20-degree drop between Friday and Saturday.
Yeah.
That was not good. So I didn't pre-fish this lake. So I didn't have any preconceptions. I haven't pre-fished any of the lakes for the Connecticut Three Bells Trail. And I went in there and I looked at the cold front, and then I saw the vertical structures that I mentioned earlier. So the tube going underneath the road and the dam on the southern end of the lake.
Yep. I
said, those are where I'm probably going to do well. And when I fooled around in the weeds a little bit at first, that confirmed it. And I said, fuck this, I'm out. There was my clock in my head that went off about 15, 20 minutes in. I said, okay, we're done with this. So I, for whatever reason, I don't know why, I can pull fish off of these vertical surfaces or these vertical structures with finesse when these cold fronts hit. Now, some lakes don't have these things. So you're going to have to find things that are as close as possible. Maybe it's a lay down and they're tucked up tight against it on the shore.
Yep.
Maybe it's a steep drop. Maybe it's a wall of weeds, things like that. I look for vertical structures like that. I think that's what fish look for too. Gives them a hiding spot. They can hide around corners and stuff, you know? And when
would you say that when the fish generally start feeling that front, like that's primarily like the general rule is that they're going to be tight to cover, whether it's vertical or whatever's available?
I would say yes. So I read an article years and years and years ago, whether this has been disproven, proven, I have no idea. I don't care. But this is what formed my perception of fish dealing with cold fronts. I think it was a Field and Stream article, and this is probably like 25, 30 years ago. There was an article about cold fronts, and the author had said that there was a scuba diver that went down into a lake in the south. I don't know if it was Texas or Florida to look at bass and see their behavior during cold fronts. And they said they found big ones that were literally nose up against stumps. And their theory at the time, again, I don't know if any of this is true, but it formed my perception of it, is the bass were trying to like diffuse the pressure up against the stumps. Mm-hmm. The pressure change affecting their bodies. They were trying to like diffuse the pain or whatever's going on by being up against that. Is that the truth? I have no fucking idea. But I can tell you this, during cold fronts, when I throw shit at stuff, I'm not throwing it in front of something. I'm throwing it, hitting it. So that dam, my goal with every cast was to hit the dam and let it drop straight down.
Yeah.
And every fish I caught was in this dam had some funky, God, I don't know how to put this. It had some cement structures that were sticking out of it that were like part of the intakes for the dam itself. And each intake had two cement whatever pylons, whatever the fuck they were on each side of them. One of them had a ladder. Like on one side, it wasn't even a ladder. It was just like rebar bent into a ladder. You know what I mean? Like almost like a staple, the shape of a staple. And it was into the cement. And the biggest fish that I caught and the biggest one that I hooked into and missed I had to put it into that corner, into the rungs of the ladder.
Yeah.
Like you would not believe the casts I was making into these things. And with the wind blowing across, a lot of my casts weren't making it. So I had this was a lot of work for 5 hours, but it paid off literally and figuratively. Mm-hmm. So were those fish facing up against the dam, trying to diffuse the pressure in their body or minimize that pressure, somehow get it to get out of their body by touching something else? I have no fucking idea. Yeah. I don't know what I'm talking about. They could be. I'm basing this off an article that came out from a fishing magazine 30 years ago or 25 years ago. And I don't care, because every fish I caught was so tight to that wall that if I didn't hit it and then it dropped straight down, if it hit the wall and bounced back a foot, I didn't get anything. Mm-hmm. The only thing I got were follows by trout, which are just aliens. So every one that hit and dropped straight down, I had a shot. If it hit and dropped straight down into a corner, I felt real good about it. But that was all day. I was fighting the wind and doing that, keeping my bait as close as I could to pressure or to the structure in this massive pressure change that happened, and hoping the fish, and you know what the word I keep saying, diffuse, attenuate was a better word to use, attenuating that pressure up against an object.
Yep.
And could they have been? I don't know.
Maybe.
They might have.
Yeah.
But I had to keep those baits tight. And also the first thing I did, I threw 3 baits all day. I threw a floating Rapala for about 3 casts in the morning. I threw a chatterbait in the morning for about 10 casts. Mm-hmm. And the rest of the day was a Ned rigged creature bait and a Ned rigged, two size Ned rigged creature bait. Now, Bobby, you and I can have a discussion about this.
Yeah.
So I have extra wide gap. I only use extra wide gap Ned rig hooks. Okay. Because I throw them into everything.
Yeah.
And I'm not switching hooks just to, now I'm in open water. I want an exposed hook.
I want an exposed hook, sure.
Yeah. I'm using the same thing everywhere because I'm efficient about this shit. So I use 2 sizes now. I've gotten rid of the 16th. I don't even use it anymore. I use an 8th and I use a quarter.
You do use a quarter.
And what that quarter does is it allows me to use a bait that I would use as a jig trailer without the skirt. Does that make any sense? It streamlines the bait.
That makes sense.
So I might go. So if I have a 3-inch creature bait on a 1/8 inch hook, I'll go to a 4-inch creature bait on a 1/4 inch. It seems to go at about the same fall rate, and it attracts bigger fish, but still gives that streamlined finesse presentation that I like using.
Yep.
And the big fish that I missed on the dam, and my second biggest fish of the day came off that. I bumped up to a bigger one just to try it out because I needed something more than 13 to 14 inches.
No, that makes that makes absolute sense. And you know what's it's interesting because I do the similar thing. Like I try to upsize, like when I think I even said it in the interview with Jordan. Like when it's I don't want to just say slow, but like when I've seen like, okay, there's a cold front, either I'm just before the front or just after the front, I usually think smaller, slower all the time. And it's not necessarily always linear. And I think that like what you're saying kind of plays into that, where, smaller, you want to play this game. If you're getting bit on something and you're looking for a larger fish, bumping up a little bit can help,
Yeah.
So going to, a larger size plastic, keeping that same weight might slow it down because it's giving more resistance in the water.
Well, I keep it, I think it as, when I do that, it's not, while the fall rate does hopefully stay the same, it's definitely on my back burner. I'm not worried about it so much.
Oh, yeah.
I'm worried about the hook extending farther into the back.
Yes.
That's where my bread and butter is, because I don't want to be throwing a little 1/8 hook and it's only halfway through this bait. Whereas on a 3-inch, it's almost to the end,
I feel like I've been doing that. That's exactly what I was running into with the presentation that I had. All of my success on, really, for the most part, like this year, has been a same thing, EWG style Ned jig, really. And I've been throwing. I usually throw a 1/16 because when I'm throwing those, I want them as light as they can be. I'm also a big like weightless soft plastics guy. You know what I mean? So I will. The 1/16 I like. I kind of last fall had a lot of good feedback from throwing those, so I stocked up. But the other one that I throw is an 1/8. I really don't throw a lot of quarter stuff, and I want to change that. I want to at least.
I'm also throwing that quarter stuff
Yep.
on my jig rod. I'm throwing, so it's a finesse presentation that I'm throwing on 20-pound fluorocarbon.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, and a stiff rod, but it seems to work in that context. Now, I will say this. Now, what I do is when cold fronts are coming in, like you just mentioned,
Yep.
You said you're downsizing. No, that's right before the front hits.
Not always. If I have to, like that's what I'm saying. Like when it gets tough, if there's something coming and I have to, the first thing I do is I think smaller, slower.
Well, I do that. I mean, that's regardless of cold front, that's across the board.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're in a midsummer day
exactly.
and nothing's biting, you got to do that. But
yeah,
so
take the term cold front out of there. That's basically what I'm getting to. Whatever the situation might be, where I'm not getting bit on something that's more of I wouldn't even say like a large presentation because I got large baits, but something that's in that like conventional like 3/8 half inch or a 3/8 half ounce and 5 inch or so. Or larger, something like that. That's when I'm thinking slower, smaller. But to get back to my point regarding like hook placement and everything, I was missing a whole lot of fish throwing a small 3-inch plastic on an EWG, and I think it had everything to do with where that hook point was. In where it was, not just the fact that it was an EWG, because I was hooking into some, but I was having more of them not get a good hook set, or maybe even not even just have the hook at all. I was tons of fish. I probably got as many fish as I had caught. Probably 50% more of them shook the hook.
Wow.
So I made a decision this year not this year, just this last 2 weeks, where I said, okay, so this has been performing as far as getting bit. What can I do to remember what I said about you did everything right but the fight?
Yep.
I took and it was a size jig head that was much larger than I actually wanted to throw. This is where I wanted that quarter. I threw what I had was a 3/8 jig head, exposed hook, just real simple owner jig head, but I used a larger plastic, but it still, with the design of that jig head, put that hook, not only was it exposed, but it put it much further back in the plastic. So if they were just getting the tail of this, and I'm not necessarily moving these, I was getting hit either on the drop or as I would like drag it across the bottom and then rip it through weeds. That's when I would get bit. So it was like, dude, I definitely lost a couple for sure. But I've actually didn't lose as many as I thought I would have, and certainly didn't lose as many if I was bank fishing. But yeah, I've lost a couple of them. But having that hook further back has led to a much better hookup rate.
Yeah.
Much better. But it's interesting, like, and then, like I said, I would love to throw a quarter. 100%. I would love to have it be a quarter. But what I had at my disposal was 3/8, and it was still working, And just going up that extra inch in the size of the plastic, that's when I caught the only 17 this year that I caught was actually on that little Ned rig, that 16th ounce.
Yeah, like I think you and I had this discussion. I ran out of my 16 ounce last year and was unable to replace them. They actually was a victim of the supply chain.
Yep.
And I just kept with the 1/8, and I have noticed actually an uptick in fish.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I mean, I didn't think that. I thought I was again on that same page, but they don't seem to mind.
Yeah.
They'll go after it. It doesn't seem to matter with the speed of the drop, because a lot of this, I think, too, has to do with me fishing a lot more smallmouth waters than I'm normally used to, but the largemouth are hitting them too. So I don't know. But either way, yeah, we're getting into Ned land here, away from the cold fronts. Bottom line is, check out Weather Underground. You can look at the graphs, do a 10-day forecast. You can see when a cold front hits, and then just prepare accordingly. Downsize.
Yep.
I look for vertical structures. You guys might, look, I was on the water with 8 other people, and I was the only person fishing that dam all day.
Yeah.
And I didn't win 5-0, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
Nelson fished weeds all day and kept it close.
Yeah.
So it's not like the only fish that'll bite are on vertical structures. I have success fishing vertical structures.
Yeah. That's
cold fronts. It's something I look for, and I always have that one article in my mind of that guy saying there was a bass with its nose into a stump trying to attenuate the pressure, and that bass was like 20 inches long.
Yeah.
So is it true? No idea. It's something I base it off of and I have success with. So you all take that as you may.
So I want to throw this out there regarding fronts and like reading them, because I had this Friday was a good example where weather-wise my mind was blown, because I really couldn't necessarily make any sense of it. Like I said earlier, when we were out there with Paul, you could tell when that front hit. It was like 80 degrees when I launched, and when we got off the water, it was closer to, it was between 60 and 65. You could tell when it happened. But what had me scratching my head was north of the Tofu Curtain in Western Mass, they had a pretty significant thunderstorm on Friday. In the right around like noon, 1 o'clock, maybe 1:30, something like that, rolled in pretty heavily south of that of the curtain, that mountain range. We didn't have nearly the impact. Now, where I was fishing is just over the Tofu Curtain, like just over it. So I was going into this scratching my head. I'm like, obviously the air temp right now is pretty consistent with where it was earlier in the day. I'm like, but we just had this storm roll in. And so I guess I was scratching my head, like, am I fishing post-frontal conditions, or is this, how do I read this?
So that was 17th into the 18th, correct?
That was yes, it was 17th into the 18th.
So 17th was an 86-degree day, correct? Yes. Yeah, it was 86 degrees.
Yep.
And then the next day was 71. So that's a 15-degree drop. Yes, I would agree with you. A cold front hit. I just don't know what time it did, because I'm looking at a history on AccuWeather and not I don't see a graph, unfortunately. So it hit, and it shows a low of 66. So check this out. Here's where this is a funky weather pattern. So Thursday it was 72 with a 62-degree low.
Yeah.
Friday it was 86 with a 66. So the lows are right there.
Yeah.
Right. And then fucking Saturday it was 71 and 53. So that tells me right there, with those two numbers dropping, no matter what time the low was of the day, which is usually at like 5 o'clock in the morning before the sun rises.
Yep. All
right. So that 86 to 53 overnight, where the week before, or the previous days, was like 82 to 62, 82, 54, 85, 52.
Yep.
I mean, it's kind of right there, but it never got up. So yeah, I would say something happened that night. I don't know if it was a minor front. I mean, it was almost to 17 degrees.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, it was
13. Oh no, hold on. 86 to 53.
There definitely was at least a minor cold front that had come in. It seemed like one Saturday morning, once Saturday had kind of hit, we didn't get up past, we had some sun in the morning.
Well, wait a minute. This is this weekend, right?
Yeah, this is just this past
Yeah,
weekend.
we know damn well.
We know
Friday
there was
night
a
into
front.
Saturday.
Yeah.
You were fishing while I was sleeping, getting ready for the next day. And I knew the front had hit overnight. Yeah,
Yeah.
It was,
But my question had to do with that storm during the day. Because that's when I saw that come through, I was like, okay, obviously, like when you have a thunderstorm, you've got a warm, you've got a basically warm mass of air and a cold mass of air, and that's what happens in between. But my question going in here, where it had me scratching my head, is what did that storm mean for that day? Should I treat it as post frontal? Because I'm with you, I agree. Like I think some of the best, I think your prefrontal conditions can yield the best outcomes.
Yep.
Post frontal is a different sort of thing because I don't know if this is the right way to describe it, but I kind of look at it as like the fish have this window of almost like recoup. Like they're sort of like getting back into like the general, like readjusting,
Yep. For us up north, I've seen it to be about 24 hours. It's usually I give it 24 hours and I feel comfortable going back to winging fucking crankbaits and chatterbaits and all that other shit around.
And that's
in the south, it seems to take a lot longer. It seems to take 2 or 3 like days. So, I mean, the usually what you see is like you hear the term bluebird skies and wind, right?
Yep.
So once a front rolls through, once that thunderstorm passes, usually you see the clearing sky afterwards. Like at the MAKB championship last year, we were all like, oh shit, because right before we launched, you saw the line of clouds just move away and it all went clear.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh shit. When you see those bluebird skies, now Saturday it wasn't. It was partly cloudy all day.
Yeah, all day long.
The wind was there. And that's, I tried to talk with Russ and Tim about this to give them a really simplified version on picking baits, right?
Yeah.
So like if you take weather, if you take the wind, right, and the clouds, and the wind, the clouds, what was it? I gave them a 3-point system: the wind, the clouds, and the water. Okay, the water clarity.
Gotcha.
And you give a point to each. So if you've got dirty water, it's windy, but out of the west, not out of the east. It's windy out of the west, and it's cloudy, right? That's a 3 points towards the fish might hit something moving because they're freer to move around.
Yep.
This is discounting a front. So I said, if you got 3 points, you're great. Now, if there's no wind, you've got crystal clear water, and what was the other thing? Wind, water, and there's no clouds. All right, no wind, no clouds, crystal clear water. You can see everything.
Yep.
How likely are those fish going to be to chase a chatterbait?
Yeah, probably not likely.
Yeah. So that's like the other end of the spectrum. Where it gets tough is like Saturday, you've got wind, you've got we had dirty water.
Yep.
So that's 2 points for something fast.
Yep.
But and there were clouds.
Yeah.
That should be 3 for 3, right?
Yeah.
No, it was a day after a cold front.
Yeah.
That overrode the whole thing. I was like,
it's wild. And so I recently I brought my youngest daughter out to she had a banner year for report cards this year. So we hooked her up. She's really into like anime and stuff. So I brought her out to get her a bunch of books. And while I was there, I picked up a new fishing book called Freshwater Fishing Tips and Tricks. It's by Gene Kauk. Or Kugik? Something. I'm not sure how to pronounce this last name.
Mean Gene.
Mean fucking Gene. And right in the first chapter, there's something that jumped out at me is a way to discuss like wind specifically. And I'm curious how you weigh in here with this, Sean. But it's like a fun little saying. It's like an old theory. I guess it's been around forever.
Hold on. Can I jump in before you even saying it?
Go for it.
Wind from the west, fishing is best. Wind from the east, fishing is least.
It's actually wind from the north, fisherman does not go forth. Wind from the south blows the bait in the fish's mouth. Wind from the east, the fish bite the least. Wind from the west, the fish bite the best.
I've never heard the north and south part of it. I don't think that matters. It's more east and west. But I live by that.
So that was another thing. I think the wind on Friday was northwest, I want to say.
Yeah, it was northwest both days.
Northwest, yeah.
So we had favorable winds.
Yeah,
they were there.
And that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm surprised it was just so like it seemed like it was just turned off.
Yeah, but I mean, Saturday. The other thing is, I didn't have a problem catching numbers of fish. I caught well over a dozen.
Yeah.
It's just I had to find them. They weren't spread out all over the place for me, and I wasn't running things all over the place.
Yeah.
I wasn't searching. I went to specific areas that I felt had
you were
fish, and I was
targeting
right.
specific structure where you were basically planning that they would be based on the conditions, and ultimately you were right. I mean, that's the other point of this too, is that you have, like, when people talk about fish population, these are huge numbers most of the time, you know, and they get divided up. So, like, you know, you talk about, like, a good example is when folks are talking about pre-spawn, spawn, and post-spawn populations. You have these percentages, like, oh, there's a bunch of bass that are spawning now, but there's going to be early ones and late ones as well. Same thing as when they say, oh yeah, they're up shallow. Well, I mean, you can catch shallow bass while you're out able to catch some that are also deep. So it's like, it's about where's the majority and the minority, and where do the big fish factor in on that.
And where are the fish that are going to bite your presentations that you're throwing?
Too,
where are
that
they?
Too. That's another variable that you got to factor in here.
Yeah. And you know what? Too, the other day, I should mention this. I don't want to. I'm not going to mention who said it because I know they were joking, or I hope they were joking.
Yeah.
But last year when Ken and I started discussing the whole Western Division and this and that, we got things going, and I did all right the first couple events. He's like, get ready. He goes, there's a lot of people as they get their feet wet into fishing. Mm-hmm. They'll say things about directors, or they'll imply things like, hey, you're fishing with, you're fishing with a teammate, or this or that. And I know for a fact, like, or they're setting up you're setting up places that you're going to succeed at, this, that, and the other thing. Now, I wasn't even directing the other day. And when it comes to Western Mass Kayak, when it comes to the MAKB events, when it comes to the Three Bells events, I am on my own. I'm cutthroat. I paid money. I'm getting in these things, and I'm going to try and win them.
You're trying to win for sure.
Yeah. Now the MAKB, and I know Derek has done a great job. He's modeled what he's done with that trail after the MAKB model, which is what I'm doing, and modeled after Ken, who set it up. But there's that level of I should be flattered about this, but like I'm getting to a point where I have fished for so long, and I've monitored my data, and I've processed my data, and I've really put a lot of work into this. And somebody still said something at the dock, well, you and Nelson fishing as a team, because he finished second.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, dude, because on these events, we talk shit. The fucking last MAKB event, because Tim O'Keefe had pushed me out of the Tim finished in the money. I think Nelson and I finished out, but he had done something that pushed me away from Angler of the Year points. Nelson bought him a beer.
Dude, that's awesome.
So,
oh God.
So this week, Nelson and I, of course, we're both fishing in the south. He had fished in the north and didn't have as much luck, and then went south, and he climbed back into it. But I saw him for a grand total 5 minutes through the day, and we don't text or talk on the water. So he was starting. I was at the dam again. The only time I saw him was I went way south to check it out, caught a few nibblers, said, this is a no good. I got to go back to the dam. I gave the dam a breather, and Nelson was pulling up to the dam, looked at it, didn't make a cast, and went away from it. And I circled around him and went to the dam. And after the event was done, I went out to meet him. And right when I got up to him, I said, it's 2:00. I go, payback's a bitch, huh? That we talk shit. There's no team stuff going on.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
But we're friends. We've been friends for fucking 40 years. We can do this.
You can afford to. Yeah.
The perception. Even I said on the way back, I said, great, here we come. First and second, paddling back now. How's this going to look? But, it's Ken prepared me for it. It's just, I don't know what to tell people. Like, go out and fish more and document your catches. You'll be able to figure out cold fronts like that. What I did was not a miracle. If I was up against another tournament with guys with the same amount of experience, my 77 probably wouldn't have stood.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nelson probably wouldn't have stood with 71 or whatever he had. You know, and it took me if I had to bump out an 11 with a 15 in the last 20 minutes just to get to 77.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like, I took it with a grain of salt. I know, because I felt that way one time too. It seems like the same guys do well and finish well, and they do for a reason.
Yeah.
All right. Now, if you're talking about bigger events, KBF, EKF, KFL,
yep.
There's sometimes, people do act as a team. We've seen it.
Well,
There's no way around it.
KFL, they're supposed to.
KFL, it's the rule is you're playing as a team, but like with KBF, you can see it, and that's annoying.
Oh, yeah.
That's really annoying because now you're like, okay, so I'm a young, inexperienced angler. Maybe I'm out here with friends, and we're all doing our own thing, but now you've got 4 national level experienced anglers, and they're just working around each other on a fucking hump with live scope like fucking whirligig Beatles. Yeah, they're not working as a team, you know? Yeah. So then you start asking yourself questions. Are they splitting the money when they're done?
Yeah, exactly.
Is it just you win this one, I'll win the next one? How are they doing it? What else? And that's what puts stuff off the sport. But I can assure you, when it comes to the local trail events, I'm out for blood.
Yeah.
And particularly Nelson's, because he's good.
He is good. You know, and that's the thing. It's nice when you're able to beat somebody that's accomplished. You know?
Yeah.
Like if nothing else, it's a feather in your cap, you know?
Yeah, and you know what? I won with the AOY last year, so I know the target's on my back.
Yeah.
And you know what? I smiled when Nelson bought that beer for Tim, and I said, "You two will get yours. Don't worry, you'll get yours." And we all had a laugh about it. But it's like, I'm not going nuts, and you know, I like I said, I'm out for blood in the tournament, but these are my friends. Like it's just like when I play wiffle ball in the backyard with my buddies or with my kids.
Yep.
I'm not lobbing them pitches. I'm throwing my arm out. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
And we're gonna have a laugh about it as I put ice on my shoulder. But whatever.
Sure.
You know, yeah. So that's that. So we kind of veered off the cold front thing, but
that's all good.
I think there's enough tip in there. Everybody will be satisfied.
There's plenty of tip. And for those of you that didn't get enough tip,
Fuck that guy. Fuck that guy. Fuck that guy.
woo! Bobby Roast Beef about to go on a tirade. Buckle
It's
up,
Bobby
ladies and gentlemen.
time.
All right, let's talk. So this all went down on Friday. Friday afternoon. Now, I'll tell you, if there's one thing I really don't like about night fishing, it's the fact that I'm awake all day anticipating this amazing day of fishing. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh yeah, I got to rig up. I got to do this. Oh, let's watch the fucking weather apps and let's see if we can figure out what we're walking into. You know, I do so much thinking during the day, putting this together, especially like when I'm not, like Friday was such a nice chill day. I had a great day hanging out with my daughter, running errands and stuff, but I knew that this was all going down on Friday. Well, the ramp etiquette on this day was in the fucking toilet. Holy shit. Now, the ramp where I'm fishing has 2 separate levels. There's a small drive that goes down to the lower level where there are 3 spots for trailers. I say that they're for trailers because they're the long lines set up, okay? For boat trailers. There at this ramp, there is also a painted off area where you're not supposed to park, and they put a chemical toilet there, you know, for the relieving oneself if need be, which is appreciated. That's great. And then the next spot that's closest to the water is actually a handicap spot, but that handicap spot is also a long spot with the long lines. And I think it's only there if someone has a handicap plate and they have a trailer, they're able to easily park there without it blocking anything, and it's all good. Great. I roll up, and all 4 of those spots are full of vehicles that did not have trailers. Okay, it gets better. It gets so much better. Not only that, but there is a car that is in the no parking section, but they're actively loading some wreck kayaks at that time. I say nothing. Now, there are 4 parking spots that are on the upper level, which is where you would pull in, and those are regular parking spots. I don't even think one of those is a handicap spot. I could be wrong. But they're up and away from the water. The person loading in these wreck kayaks that was in the no parking area, like just in front of the launch, but just off to the side, had dropped the boat, pulled that truck all the way up, and parked up in this level. In fact, we had a little conversation because they had seen me earlier in the week at a gas station nearby, fueling up, and she says, oh yeah, I've seen that boat before. Oh, that thing looks awesome. Yeah, how do you like it? I was like, $5 a gallon? I love this thing. Like, I don't need any gas. This is great, you know. And you know, I mean, which happens a lot. It's great. But I'm sitting there, and one of these trucks that's parked there's these 2 older gentlemen. I don't know what their situation was, but they had matching single-person kayaks, and they were putting them in the ramp and loading them up, right? Now, I get it. You know, you want to go out for a paddle at night, you know, take in some of the nice scenic area. The one nice thing about this pond is that it's got a great view. It really does, especially as the sun goes down. Like it's a beautiful place to be. But these two dudes are loading up their boats. They're taking their sweet ass time, and I see one of them walk back over to the truck and grab PFDs. Which for that, great job. They grab their PFDs, they bring them out to their canoes, and these are nice matching single person Old Towns, nice little boats, right? Matching. I'm like, who does that? So they go and they start rigging stuff up, and I'm like, they're not going to move that fucking truck, and I'm not going to have a place to park. Because I mean, technically, I suppose I could drop my boat and then pull up on street. And I'm like, but I didn't even look into this to see if there was like no parking on that side of the street or something. That very well could have been the situation.
Yeah, in that town, you don't want to do that shit.
Yeah, you don't want to do that shit. So I'm like, okay, let's figure this out. So I go, I'm just going to go and mention to him, like, hey, guys, come on. Like, I got a trailer. It's very obvious that's what these spots are for. Can you move your truck up to the top level? Well, I go and I approach them, and they play this game of like, oh, I somehow I forgot whose truck it was. You're going to move like back and forth like this. And I was like, come on, guys. There's nothing I can do. There's nowhere for me to park this thing. You know, I apologize if it's an inconvenience, but, you know, do what you got to do, you know? So they eventually move the truck. I go, I park in that spot. I start loading in, and I drop my boat in, and I go. Everybody's out doing their business. Now, remember I told you I bumped into that trivia player and that the members from that team on the water? Yep. They were two of the cars that were down there.
Oh,
they were.
Did you yell at them?
I didn't even think about it because I was so fired up at this moment because my buddy was no, I'm sorry. So they had left. My buddy pulls down, and I see him pull into one of those spots. But again, he's got the bed extender on his truck, like, and he's loading his boat out. So he comes down, parks there, gets everything ready, and these two a-holes are taking the sweetest time ever getting off the ramp. They have these two matching canoes on the ramp, and they're bringing each piece one at a time and loading the truck back up, and then taking one boat and then loading it where it has to go. And my buddy is just standing there, like, holding the handle of his kayak, like, okay, I'm ready to go, guys. I'm ready to go. Granted, he was texting. He was doing some work shit, which is a whole other ball of wax. I think he's crazy for dealing with some of the shit at his job that he deals with, but that's not my place to say. So he's just standing there, and I'm texting, and I'm like, dude, just tell him to fucking move. I'm like, I already had to fucking yell at him about moving their truck before when I couldn't park. I was like, just tell him to fucking load in. And at this point, like, I am nearby, but I'm still fishing, you know? I'm like, okay, doing my thing. They're just sitting there taking their sweet freaking time. Absolutely ridiculous. Without even acknowledging, they didn't even say, hey, we'll be out of here in a minute. Nothing. They said nothing to him whatsoever. So on both ends, I really kind of feel like they were just trying to intentionally be fucking old, crusty douchebags. I really do. So for that, fuck those guys. And while I was texting my buddy Paul, I did snap a picture, and I will be posting said picture on my Instagram so that you guys can see these two. And I get it, you know, canoes, you know, it's a lifestyle, it's a whole thing. You know what's odd about this picture though, Sean, is that it actually does kind of look like, I don't know, I look at it and I'm very much reminded of the Mezzalonsky FTG. The guy filling up that tank.
Yes.
There's something about it just gives me the same kind of vibes.
He's everywhere.
Yeah, and it's ridiculous. So these two dudes, they're like loading stuff up. Like, I get it, but just take your shit and move it off to the side of the ramp so he can load in. Like, what the hell is this? And
it's not your ramp, Bobby.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, clearly, obviously, there was a fucking sign. I should have known. I'm like, you have got to be shitting me. So fuck those guys. Like, ramp etiquette is certainly a thing. Like, you've got to deal with what you got to deal with. I get it, you know. But I was like, when I pulled up and I was like, those guys are going to launch. They're going to leave their fucking truck here. I'm like, and then what are my options? You know, at that point, what are my options? I either have
get angry.
Yeah, exactly. So what? I'm going to call and you know have them towed. Like, they're not parked where they're supposed to be parked. You know, or do I wait until somebody else shows up just so I can grab their spot? Who knows? Not me.
I don't know. I would. You know what? I know the ramp you're talking about. I would just have parked my trailer and truck jackknifed in front of the ramp, and everyone else can fuck off.
I thought about that. I definitely thought about that. I was like, yeah, that would be good. But I'm like, also at the same time, like, there are plenty of people there. Obviously, the 4 that were parked down there had no business being parked there whatsoever. And I don't know why there isn't a sign that says parking for boat trailers.
But even if you have that,
yeah,
people can still park there.
Yeah,
it's weird. It's a weird thing. Like we've tried.
I understand. Especially if all the other spaces are full, you got to park where you got to park. I get it, you know. But they were not full up at the top. And with these 2 dudes that were just loading in right there, it's not like they were all full when they got there.
Yeah, I know.
So,
it's a tough situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
That's all I can say about it.
And the part that really, I was like, okay, that's kind of a dick move. But hey, I told them to move. They moved. Okay, awesome. Great. End of story. But when I saw those 2 boats on the ramp blocking anybody else from doing whatever, and actually, now that I think about it, not only was I kind of nearby the ramp waiting for this, but there was a guy who was waiting to load out. To leave. He was sitting in his boat fishing as well. And we were just having a conversation. And he's like, I'd like to get up there. But, you know, he's like, I got these 2 guys. And I'm like, tell me about it. The Odd Couple. That's what it reminded me of. The Odd Couple.
Old crusty dudes that don't give a fuck are the best and the worst simultaneously.
It's crazy, dude.
Yep. Well, fuck them.
It's bananas. Hold on a second. I got to play this because now I'm thinking about it. And I feel like... Fuck those guys. Do you remember this?
Fuck those guys.
Fuck those guys. Fuck those guys. Oh, fuck
that was unrehearsed. We're awesome.
We're pretty good at this shit.
Maybe we can get Paul to sing it. Fuck those guys.
Maybe he can do it in Polish. I'll bet you he could.
No. Paul Roberts.
Oh, Paul Roberts.
Let's do it in Polish too.
Do it in Polish too.
Jest no dobrze, jest no dobrze, jest no dobrze.
Oh, fuck those guys.
Yep. What do we got next? Do we need some fucking drums?
We need some Dothraki. You ready?
No, wait.
Standing by.
Bam. I am almost ready. And I'm pressing buttons, Bobby. This is great. I got all these electronic devices in front of me. And they're, believe it or not, they're not just used for porn.
Interesting. Fuck those guys.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna go here first. We'll do this one first. I'm gonna have to shuffle around a little bit when I get to one. So we're gonna make you talk again, like you did last week or 2 weeks ago. It was so good.
I'll do what I can.
You'll do what you can. All right. You got some Dothraki up?
We got the Dothraki happening.
All right. So let's start with the Three Bells tournament down at Mansfield Hollow. We did have we had 9 folks in the water with us. Somebody paid and then didn't come. I don't know what the fucking deal is with that, but we'll go with the top 5. So we had Jeremiah Savely, Jay. He and his wife came out to eat with us afterwards. Awesome dude. His wife's cool, and he finished with 60 inches, 5th place. Congratulations to him.
That's awesome.
Jeremy Tardy, 63 1/4, 4th place. Nice job, Jeremy. Ted Douglas, 65 1/2. Ted cracking the top 3. Three Bells own Ted. Three Bells own
Nice
Ted.
job.
65 1/2, 3rd place. Nelson, 71 3/4, 2nd place. Was just not good enough to top my 77 1/4 I hit 1st place. Now, we had a couple lunker pools going on. Bass lunker. Nelson caught an 18 3/4 largemouth for the lunker, and Derek had the toothy critter win with a 17 1/2 inch pickerel, which, of note, this lake had pike in it. Nobody caught any pike.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes. So that is the Three Bells tournament on Saturday. That was a lot of fun. Thank you, Derek, for putting it on. Up next, MAKB had a tournament out east. So we're going to cover that real quick as I am. There we go. It was at Whitehall Reservoir, 26 anglers. And I'll do the top 10 because it's up in front of my face.
Giddy up.
Dominic Eno, 64 inches, 10th place. Kelvin Nova, our guy Kelvin.
Nice.
Rex, there he is, 64 and a quarter in 9th. John Ferreira, also 64 and a quarter in 8th. And Ari Stonehill, also 64 and a quarter in 7th. 3 guys, 64 and a quarter. That's bizarre,
wild.
but whatever.
What are the odds?
I don't know.
Crazy.
It's insanity. 6th place, Derek Brundle, 68 and 3/4. 5th place, George Valentine, 69 even. 4th place. What the hell is wrong with me? 4th place, Bruce Levy, 70 and a quarter. 3rd place, Ken Wood, 72 and a quarter. 2nd place, Steve Napolitano, 72 and a quarter. And the winner of the day, 1st place, 79 inches, Matt Conant.
Dude, nice.
Yep. Big bass of the day was 19 and a quarter, and the big pickerel of the day was a 19 and a quarter. Bruce Levy got the bass. Ken Wood got the pickerel. Again, this was at Whitehall Reservoir out east. Where the hell? It's got to be in Whitehall, Mass. I don't know. Is there a town called Whitehall, Mass? I have no fucking idea.
We'll invent
out
it.
East. Yeah, it is now. All right. Up next. What do I have in our notes, Bobby? I got all sorts of shit in our notes. We have. All right. Well, this is easy. So we covered those. I want to cover real quick before we get into. I'll do this first. All right. So Chronic Trips for next month is open for registration. Remember, same format as Jigs and Bigs.
Yep.
Salt and fresh water, though.
100.
If you're planning, I am actually planning on doing a lot of saltwater fishing in July.
Yep.
And I'm looking forward to this.
You salty bitch.
Bobby, I talked with Seth this week, and obviously we're in the car line. You know what I think is a good idea?
Tell me.
I think that whatever month the trifecta falls on, whether it's June or July,
yep,
that's a Chronic Trips needs to happen on that month. I think I'd like to do that. We'll have a discussion about this off air, or you could say, yeah, that's a good idea, Sean. Right now, I don't give a fuck.
The pairing makes sense because you're dealing with so much salt right there.
Makes sense.
This is one of those years where that's going to be the case.
Yeah, correct. And
Yeah.
I think we should do that going forward. It just makes sense. It makes sense, and it's cross promotional. Now, also what makes sense is I know April's a big month for everybody for fishing, but I think the Chronic Trip should also take April. And this is coming from me, by the way. So I threw this at Seth. You know why?
Why is that?
I mean, the 420 bonus. It just,
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's true.
it just fits, dude. And then,
yeah.
Jigs and Bigs can probably take May and June. And then by the time we get to August, it doesn't matter. Those are the 2 big months. So maybe going forward next year, we'll do Chronic Trips to open the year.
Yep.
2 Jigs and Bigs, come back to Chronic Trips, and then alternate after that to end the year out. Makes sense, right?
Do you think maybe we should do the May and June as like a 60-day tournament?
Holy well, if it's freshwater only, I'd say no. You know why?
Why is that?
Because as we've seen,
Yep.
these tournaments get like with the folks that are out there fishing constantly.
Yep.
They really saturate. They really get to a point where it's hard to call after about 2-3 weeks. You know what I mean?
That's true. That's true.
So I think we should just stop it and refresh it after, do maybe do May and then do June, keep them separate.
Yeah.
We can always add some flair one way or another, but I think that's a good idea going forward. It sounds like you agree with it. It makes sense, right?
I think that's a real good idea, actually.
Yeah. So there we go. But anyways, Chronic Trips is open for registration. We are going to be fishing the salt and fresh water for Chronic Trips. And what's funny? We'll go right into this for Jigs and Bigs. Once again, Brant Rowland with a freshwater tournament only is the only person we know in any of these tournaments to crack 300 inches the way it's currently done.
Really?
He's the only person to crack 300 inches, period. But he's done it again. Brant Rowland. I said Brent. Brant Rowland.
Yep.
From Wisconsin has hit this month. He hit he was the first to 100, first to 200, and first to 300.
That's awesome. He's killing it, man.
He's got, he's got that ability to hit, the unholy trinity of big over 20-inch fish of walleye, pike, and bowfin.
Yeah.
And he got a bunch of what looks like channel cats. So if you're up in Wisconsin and Minnesota, you've got the Mississippi River right there.
Use it.
Yeah, and apparently, I'm guessing Brant has. So let's let's start with Jigs and Bigs where it's at. I did the scoring last night, so if there's been anything turned in today, I don't have it, and the tournament's not over, so I don't care. We're gonna do the top 4 places. You know why?
Why's that?
Every one of them's tied.
Oh, no shit. Really?
Yeah. So 4th place with 6 points each.
Yep.
Nelson and Nick Ringard.
Nice job,
Nick
boys.
is obviously an MAKB member out west,
Yep.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Up next,
Yeah.
a little bump up, 8 points. Andrew Heath and Brian Tonello.
Nice job.
Nice job to them.
Tied for 3rd. Beautiful.
2nd place, Todd Sefton with 9, Sean the Fisherman with 9.
Nice job.
And Jerry Howes and Brant Rowland. In
They're
these
tied up in
tournaments,
first?
it's yeah, they are, but you know what they are? They're Larry Bird in the, 87 or 88 3-point contest.
Yep.
They walked into this event and looked at everyone else and said, who's finishing 3rd?
Yeah, exactly.
So let me reiterate that. So that was Nelson and Nick with 6, Brian and Andrew with 8, myself and Todd with 9. 14 points each. Jerry and Brant tied for first. And
that's
even better, first tiebreaker, number of species, 9 each.
Shut up.
Yeah, these fucking animals. Animals! These guys can fish.
That's awesome, dude. I mean,
So
I'll tell you what though. I think it says a lot for Brant, like putting up those kinds of numbers up against Jerry, because Jerry has proven himself
Yeah, well, Brant has too.
significantly.
This is just 2 heavyweights. I
Yeah,
mean, these guys can
100%.
fucking fish.
Oh,
Yeah, it's crazy. The one last thing I'd like to talk about with the with tournaments in the tournament section here, we've left something alone for a little bit because it's touch and go, right? It's
sure.
It happens in spurts. The MAKB New England wide knockout tournament is still going on.
Yes.
Okay? I haven't talked about that in a little bit, but not only do we have a Sweet 16, which I'm going to get into in a second. The last 4 people in the Sweet 16 have actually, 2 of them have been eliminated. We've gone on to the first of our Elite 8 here. Because again, we had a 64 this year, so we can use all those wonderful 64
Yep,
team,
absolutely.
64 team tournament terms. All right. So in the Sweet 16, matchup number 1, Jeff Levesque and then our boy Ray Sparky Figueroa.
Oh, nice.
Yep. Ari Stonehill and Tyler Lahane are facing off. And John Ferreira and Chris Nichols are facing off.
Okay.
Winner of Stonehill and Lahane takes on Ferreira and Nichols. Over in my bracket, I'm facing off against Jerry Andrews, and the winner takes on the winner of Neil Raposa and Nate Shagnon.
Ooh. Are we going to see the fisherman Shagnon throwdown, or
I don't know. Jerry can fish. We'll see what happens. I'm not overlooking him. So yeah, I think we're fishing the first week of July or second week.
I'm just thinking that if we did see that in that next phase, that might be amazing content right there.
I think
call it the battle for the Dude Cup.
I think you might have to take a day off and just be an on-the-water commentator. What do you think about
Possibly.
that? Excellent. Getting back to the bracket I mentioned first with Jeff Levesque and Ray Figueroa.
Yep.
Their winner is taking on Dave Bebo, who defeated Bill Galecki. So Bill made it to Sweet 16. Congrats, great run,
Nice.
Bill. And
good job, Bill.
Dave Bebo got by him. And then in the final bracket, Corey Walker and Todd Dyer.
Yeah.
The winner of that faces Derek Brundle, who beat Valber Santos in his. So we have Derek Brundle and Dave Bebo that are already in the Elite 8.
Yep.
And then everybody else is lining up to meet up with
Fill
them there.
those spots.
Yeah, this is a crazy tournament with 64 people in it. It's been nuts, and we're not done yet. Let's see how much more fun we can have with this. I made it to the Sweet 16. I'm pretty happy there. Again, just taking on the level of competition in this thing is nuts, and 1 win is great, 2 wins is phenomenal. I thought Mike Morcone had my number this year. He was surprised at it too. It's just a law of averages. I don't know how.
Yeah.
Every time Mike Morcone and I get on the water, I slip by him. I don't understand, but that's our crazy universe, I guess. I don't know. Nothing makes fucking sense.
No.
We're on a rock spinning through space at 1,000,000 miles an hour.
There's a giant machine in the sky.
Nothing makes fucking sense.
Yep.
That's all I have for tournaments, my friend. We can turn off the drums until the next wedding.
I love it. Honeymoon's over.
Everybody's dead. It's a wedding.
It's true. It is true. Man, I'm telling you, man, the tournament action has been nonstop, whether it's for our own tournaments or chronic trips and the MAKB stuff, the knockout series, the KFL info. Like, it's pretty amazing.
It has been.
It's been a whirlwind.
All sorts of shit going on this year. All sorts.
A whirlwind.
Whirlwind.
All right, we're going to go ahead and throw to break, guys, and come back after this. We're going to wrap this show up here. Thanks for sticking around. We'll see you guys in just a minute. Jigs and Bigs is your favorite fishing podcast, right? Why not show the world how much you love the show while directly supporting us? We have men's and ladies' shirts, hoodies, and a variety of hats. We even have a waterproof outdoor Bluetooth speaker so you can listen to your favorite podcast while out on the water if you like. Check out jigsandbigs.com/shop to visit the store and gear yourself up. If you really can't get enough of this show, consider becoming a jighead and joining our Patreon. It's a subscription that gives you exclusive access to recording sessions that allow you to engage with us as we record the show. We also have some exclusive content there just for our jigheads and even have some special promo codes. Space is limited, so join now at jigsandbigs.com. Finally, if you're local to our area in Western Massachusetts, consider checking out the Western Mass Fishing Report, posted weekly at northeastwildwoman.com. We have amazing contributors providing great content and info for local conditions and what's been going on and working recently. Jigs and Bigs, so much more than just two lightly roasted hippies trapped in the 90s arguing on the internet about fishing. All right, guys. Final segment here for Jigs and Bigs. I've been loving that break start. Little effect here. That I've played with it multiple times throughout the show, and I thought that was actually a nice little spot for it.
Excellent.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. No interview segment this week, guys, but Sean and I have been playing around with a brand new segment that we're going to be bringing into the show, and one of these is think about it as almost like a mailbag or a mail room style segment where we want to take questions or hot topics or suggestions or anything from you guys. If you're looking for information from us, this is a great way to kind of engage, submit some stuff. And what we're going to do is stockpile a lot of these questions. And then in these shows where we may not have an interview guest, we'll go ahead and throw to this. So each week that we do this, it'll be a new sort of exciting way to go through and talk about the specific topics that you are, looking for either our opinions on, our information. Maybe we dig around and get some stuff together. So this is going to be a lot of fun, but how is it all going to happen? Well, a lot of this we're going to manage right through Instagram. We're probably going to be utilizing a lot of the, obviously we'll be posting, but we'll be using the stories as well. So you guys can just shoot us a DM over there with the questions that you have in order. Of course, we have a nice little bit of production we have to do to make this all kind of nice and everything. But I think the name that we had settled on it was What's Cooking with Jigs and Bigs. And get ready. I think we've got some good stuff. So if you have something that you want to talk about, whether it be maybe a specific technique, maybe a piece of gear, maybe it's a specific presentation, maybe it's got to do with weather stuff or conditions or whatever it might be. Shit, if you want to know our favorite menu item from Applebee's.
Or food.
Yeah.
Or metal or music or comics or Bobby's nightlife shenanigans, whatever. We're up for anything. Hit us with some funny shit. We'll throw it in our kitchen and come up with a fucking recipe.
We'll come up with something good for you guys, and I think this will be a little bit of a fun way to kind of dive into some stuff. In fact, this will also be a great way to sort of get questions for you guys that might be a better fit for like Just the Tip. Or maybe we'll go and we'll address it in the mailroom, but we'll do a feature on it where we do a deep dive on Just the Tip or something like that, or one of our segments. Maybe you want to just sound off about something there that doesn't necessarily make the cut for Fuck This Guy or something, but you want to. This is a great way to kind of put it where we can kind of have some fun and chime in and give you our 2 cents and everything else. And we also want to We want to add a little something extra for the jig heads. So if you're one of our jig heads right now, you can go to our Patreon over there. And what we're going to have in place is a spot where you can just simply send us with a link, a way to record a message, to put your voice on the show. You have something you want us to talk about, or you just want to sound off, go ahead, leave something there. We'll drop it in this segment, and we'll have some fun with it. We'll see how it goes. So get ready, jig heads. That's coming very soon.
Yay.
It's going to be good. Hang on. We deserve it. We deserve it.
Honestly, when it comes down to it, Bobby, this is really a segment we're basing off a regular AMA, right? Which we like
pretty
doing.
much.
We haven't done one in a while, and they've been fun.
Yep.
But when we started thinking of a theme for it, I mean, immediately I went to the kitchen with it, and you and I have been having so much fun between the naming and all the theme, and then the theme song that we kind of came together on, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So we think you'll enjoy it. It'll be fun. It'll be bizarre, jigs and big shit as usual, but it's going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be a blast. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. Good times for everybody. This segment here, we have, you know what I did want to talk about specifically for this was, so I told you I had a little daddy-daughter day with my youngest. She wanted to go and, I wanted to treat her and give her a little bit of a reward for her hard work all year. Amazing report card, definitely did very, very well. She's going to a brand new school next year. She's really, really excited because there's no uniforms over at that school. So she gets to kind of live her best life, And I said to her, I go, hey, kiddo, I said, so we're going to go and run some errands. One of those things was I had to go and get an oil change. So I brought the 4Runner to get my oil change, got all that stuff done. Went up to the bookstore with Delaney, and she picked out a couple of books and a couple of other items and stuff, and I grabbed my reading, and I said, you know what, why don't we just go grab lunch? What do you think? And I'll tell you, as fate would have it, this is one of the things I love about my kids. They are not afraid to try anything new, and they've got really, really, really adventurous palates when it comes to food. That's one thing Holly and I definitely did right. Our kids are okay, cool, yeah, I'll try that. No matter the cuisine, they're down to try it. So we had this in our minds. She's like, you know what? She's like, I'm kind of hungry, Dad. She says, why don't we just go and hit a drive-through somewhere? And I was like, all right, let's put a list together. What are you thinking? And then what she was suggesting, I was like, well, I go, if you're thinking stuff like that, I go, why don't we just run to Five Guys? We'll just grab a burger and some fries, good stuff. And she's like, okay, yeah, sounds good. So we went to one nearby where we were, and they were actually closed. They were doing renovations inside, some type of construction. There was a bunch of people bringing heavy equipment in and out and all sorts of stuff. And they said that they were open for takeout, but we called, they weren't. So I said, okay. So we'll go to another location. So we're on our way over to, there's a location over in Chicopee because, what do you do? The second guess is always to move to Chicopee shit anytime. So we're on our way over there, and she looks at me and she's like, Dad, I just got a good idea. And I said, what's that? She goes, let's go to the Indian buffet at Priya. And I was like, oh, I like the way you're thinking, kid. So yeah, I treated my my youngest daughter to Indian buffet, and we gorged ourselves like crazy, and it was fantastic. Oh, God, it's so good over there. If you guys like Indian food and you're in the area, I highly recommend Priya. The buffet is great. The weekend buffet is even better. It's a lot more selection, but during the week, you can't beat it. You cannot beat it. I think we both ate for less than $12.
Holy shit.
It was crazy. I mean, I think the bill was under $25 for the two of us. I was like, that is wild. It was absolutely delicious. But yeah, fantastic. I'm like, you're good thinking, kiddo. I'm like, you're freaking smart. Party on, yeah. Wayne. Oh my goodness.
Excellent.
So
I haven't had Indian food in a while. I go to India House up in Northampton.
I love India House. India House is great. India House puts out a great product. I'm a Pinto's guy. I always have been. I love Pinto's. It's fantastic. The buffet, although small, the lunch buffet. In fact, Tim O'Keefe and I had Pinto's when I picked up that auger from him over the winter.
Oh, nice.
And it's absolutely dynamite. But I'll tell you what, Priya does a damn good job. Good job. I think that about does it for this segment here. How are you feeling about it?
I think we wrap the show and we'll see you guys fucking next week.
Yeah.
I'm sick of listening to you guys.
Yeah.
Stop bitching, motherfuckers. I've had enough.
Hey, if there's anything we want you guys to take away from this episode here that you should definitely know about, it's number one, don't park where you're not supposed to park, you fucking pieces of shit. And secondly, don't leave your matching single-person canoes blocking the entire ramp where other people can't use it, because then you're going to end up on this show and on my Instagram while we riddle you like crazy. You know what? You remember I posted that picture of the initial FTG from last week, the guy who had insisted on showing me his catch.
Yep,
and
human.
Yep, and then he decided to pull out a two-piece spinning combo and start fishing right up next to me. Well,
True professional.
I got to tell you, we had a couple of comments that were amazing. First and foremost, we had Chris Wins Yak Fishing say exactly how I pictured him. That's great. J. Manning says, is that D. Snyder? And I think my response was, he's not going to take it.
Should we give him a name? Like, he's obviously not Chickabee Chet, but he's definitely the champ from Hamp.
Oh, he 100% could be the champ from Hamp. Absolutely right. Gravy Fishing said, I did see this guy on Sunday, I think, and I commented, I said, you did. And then somebody else in here had, you know what, I think it's on Facebook that somebody had commented this. That was just, it was hilarious. I mean, some of you guys really absolutely killed it. Let's take a look. I know it posted here. There we go. Yes, here's those comments. That's what I'm looking for. So this is good. Joe Fournier, this is the one that just, it killed me, and it got 5 laugh emojis from other people. Looks like he keeps loose trail mix in his pockets. Dude, that was great. I loved it.
A little bit for the birds, a little bit for him, a little bit more for him.
Danger Dave said, I'm not fair. I haven't made it that far in the episode yet. I'm sure Danger Dave already has at this point now. Then Hooks at Hoodlums commented and says, I like him now that I see him. I don't know why. And then I just responded with an angry Hank Hill, just because. A buddy of mine from college actually commented, goes, did he try to board your kayak? I said, you're going to have to listen to the show and find out. Jeff Caldwell goes, I was busting laughing to this last night, but now I hate you because I too use that same ugly stick 2-piece. And I said, oh, and then it hooks on Hoodlum's comments and goes, they were grade A haters this week. We really were. Jeff Caldwell also leaves a GIF. It was a banana, a banana like ride. Carl Hegarty says, look at the mane on that guy. He looks like my Aunt Nancy. And then his Aunt Nancy comments and says, nephew, my hair is definitely not that damn gray, LOL.
Thanks, Aunt Nancy, for chiming in.
I love that Aunt Nancy chimed in and was like, my hair is not that gray. You get those words out your mouth, bitch. All right,
amazing.
That does it. Yeah, I just wanted to share those comments because last week's FTG definitely struck a chord, and I think that this one will too. And I love that we had the Odd Couple music in there. That was really good.
And that we sunk up our singing. Thanks for following my lead. We were the best.
That was fantastic. Guys, get out there and catch some goddamn fish, would you? Please. Do me a favor and catch some fish. I haven't caught a fish over 17 inches this year. I hope you do. Get out there and make it happen. Catch something, all species. Show all these species a little bit of love. Get out there and enjoy it. Remember to wear some sunblock, man. Wow. I am getting crispy. I haven't burned yet this year. That's nice. But, man, I'll tell you, my tan is looking good. Like, the gray in my beard is popping.
I got some crazy red neck and red hands I've been covering up.
Crazy redneck,
crazy red hands. I'm looking forward to getting a beach vacation here in the near future, and I can even out everything and just fry out on a beach, which would be great.
That's the best way to do it, guys. Remember sunblock. Remember your bug spray, and above all, take good care of each other and pick up after your damn selves, you freaking animals. And if you see somebody that's an absolute piece of shit on the water, make sure to share that information with us because we'd love to throw that on FTG. If nothing else, God, it does make me feel so much better. It really, really does. Have yourselves a great one, everybody. Get out there, catch some fish, and like we always say each and every week,
tits and ass, smoke some grass.